Year 2030, the height of summer in June. Binhai City, Binhai University, the rooftop of the classroom building. I leaned against the railing, taking in the whole campus below, and let a thought slip out. Hard to believe. 100 more days, and all of this will be buried in ice and snow. Man, I'm gonna miss this last hot summer. Every other student was going crazy from the heat, hiding in air-conditioned rooms, sipping cold drinks. And me? Here I was, of all places, appreciating how great summer is. Weird? Not at all. Because I'm a reborn. I came back from 3 years in the future. That place had a name. The glacial apocalypse. I knew it all too well. In 100 days, the sun would fall into complete chaos, and the blue planet would plunge into extreme cold in an instant. The average temperature would crash straight past -50 degrees. Ice and snow would swallow the entire world, and every living thing would be reduced to nothing. And this apocalypse had no end. Countless people would die. A few would hang on in misery, which really just meant killing time, waiting to die. For those 3 years, I was one of the ones waiting to die. I clumsily blew out a smoke ring, dropped the cigarette butt on the ground, and crushed it out with my foot. A pile of butts had already gathered at my feet. Counting them up, exactly one whole pack. Since I'm living again, might as well quit. I never used to smoke. Hated the weird smell. But in the apocalypse, I needed that little bit of warmth, needed the nicotine to numb myself enough to sleep. Now, didn't need it anymore. Because this time, I was going to live completely differently. Extraordinary, comfortable, living it up for 100 years. System, is the beginner pack loaded yet? Can I open it? I recited it silently, activating my golden finger. That's right. I wasn't just a reborn. I came back with a system too. The Super Apocalypse Survival System. That's why I had the guts to quit just like that. Ding. Beginner pack opening countdown. 5, 4, 3. Ding. Congratulations, host. You have obtained one Apocalypse Survival Fortress. Ding. Congratulations, host. You have obtained the storage space ability. Ding. Congratulations, host. You have obtained the invisibility ability. 3 chimes went off one after another, and the pack landed all at once. I burst out laughing on the spot. Not bad, not bad. All solid stuff. First up, the Apocalypse Survival Fortress. The system spelled it out clearly. This was a professional-grade survival fortress, made of pure metal, using materials from the future. Bullets couldn't pierce it, cannons couldn't break it. Even if tons of atomic bombs rained down, it would hold. A fully sealed dome, 2 levels. The upper level was for combat readiness, with a full set of weapons, machinery, and survival gear. The lower level was the living area, well insulated, with a TV, computer, game console, gym, and bathroom. Everything you could want. When the 3D layout pulled up, it was packed with that high-tech feel. The sense of security went straight through the roof. After looking it over, I had one word. Sweet. With this thing, I can just hole up and enjoy myself, right? Extreme cold was nothing. With enough fuel and enough supplies, this fortress was paradise. Second item, the storage space ability. I gave a silent command in my mind, and an empty void opened up in my consciousness. Infinitely large, no limits on length, width, or height. And inside, time seemed to stop completely. I casually tossed in my phone and keys, waited about 5 minutes, then took them back out. The time on the phone was still frozen at the exact moment I put it in. Not a second off. Time stands still. Great. Then I don't have to worry about anything expiring, no matter how much I stuff in there. My mind was racing. These next few days I can go wild ordering hot takeout and fancy meals, and pack it all into the space. Take it out later, and it'll still be piping hot. I just don't know what happens to living things put in there. Like a person? Would they suffocate right away? Or would there be no effect at all, free to take out and put back? I'd save that for a later experiment. I made a mental note. Third item, the invisibility ability. Literal meaning, easy to understand. I tested it a few times right there and drew a few conclusions. 1. The invisibility covers everything. Clothes and anything I'm touching go invisible too. Good news. No need to strip naked to turn invisible. 2. Half an hour tops per use. Go past that, and my head starts spinning. I have to rest a while and recover before I can use it again. How long the cooldown is, I haven't figured out yet. Of course, I can split that half hour up. 3 to 5 minutes at a time, just turn it off manually. The key is not to push past my body's limit. All 3 checked out, and the more I looked, the happier I got. A perfect combination. With storage space plus invisibility, my hoarding plan can really go all out. These 2 days since being reborn, one plan had been running through my head nonstop. A plan to hoard supplies. Originally, I'd planned to sell the house my parents left behind after they died young, turn it into cash, then go on a buying spree. Rent a remote warehouse, clean out supermarkets, stockpile food, and warm clothes. Now that I had the system, the plan had to change. With conditions like these, why the heck would I buy anything? Just steal it. No, wait. For an educated man, it's not called stealing. It's called borrowing. Right, we'll call it borrowing. Borrow from the supermarket, borrow from the reserve bureau, borrow from the fresh food warehouses. Done. 1 ton, 2 tons, 10 tons, 100 tons. I'm gonna hoard until my hands go numb, pile up an unbeatable fortress, and live comfortably for 100 years. Thinking about the good days ahead, a warmth stirred in my chest. I didn't want to waste another second. No sooner said than done. I came down from the rooftop and strode back to Building 15. I'd just reached the door of room 532, reaching for my key, when the door opened on its own. A guy classmate popped out, a look of surprise on his face. Yo, Mingji, you're back? I froze for a second, not catching on right away. The next second, buried memories came surging up from the depths of my mind. I recognized him. This was my roommate of 3 years in college. Yenhao, 200 pounds, 6 feet tall, a big heavy guy. Honest and simple-natured, we got along okay. Just messy. Didn't like studying, didn't like showering, the type who slacked off the whole way through. Failed every exam, only scraping by on retakes and begging. Fresh from being reborn, my head was still full of those 3 apocalyptic years, so I genuinely didn't recognize him for a moment. Once I snapped out of it, I nodded a greeting. Oh, Ritian. Heading out. Yenhao nodded. Yeah. Li Xueqing asked me to help her with something. Li Xueqing? The moment those 3 words came out, another name slammed into my mind. But this time, my face darkened instantly. What surfaced in my eyes was a viciousness that could swallow a person whole. That bitch. I bit back the second half of the sentence. Forget it. The apocalypse isn't here yet. Any revenge plans have to be held down for now. Yenhao saw my expression flip in a heartbeat and just stood there dazed. Mingji, are you okay? I quickly wiped the look off my face and brushed it off with a fake smile. TCH, to know what's going on, my stomach suddenly feels awful. Maybe I got heat strokes standing out in the sun. Hearing that, Yenhao hurried to get out of the way. Io, then go rest inside, cool off with the AC. As he said it, he ran out himself and waved at me. Mingji, I'm gonna head out first. Hey, wait. I raised a hand to stop him and dropped a line, my expression flat. Ritian, Li Xueqing isn't into you. She's not a good person. His belly gave a jiggle, and he scratched his head awkwardly. This. I waved my hand, signaling him to just go. Anyway, keep it in the back of your mind. He gave a sheepish smile, didn't answer, then turned and jogged off with heavy footsteps. I watched his chubby back round the stairwell and vanish completely. I stayed silent a few seconds, then turned and went into 532. Sitting back down at my desk, I sank into memory. It was the 48th day after the glacial apocalypse broke out. Yeah, that afternoon. 3 years had passed, but I remembered this moment crystal clear even now. Because that afternoon, Li Xueqing, her bestie Gao Yue, and the class monitor Wang Qi blocked me from the shelter entrance and turned me away. Not driving me off, blocking the door, just not letting me in. Through that heavy iron door, I shouted, I cursed, I pounded, I begged. And those 3 people. No, those 3 animals. Not one of them opened the door. They watched me freeze out there in minus 50 degrees, shaking like a leaf, until I finally crawled away in despair. And they were still partying inside, clapping and cheering, every face twisted in a sick, deranged grin. Celebrating what? Celebrating one less mouth to share the food, so they could scrape by a few more days themselves. That time didn't kill me outright, but I lost an ear to frostbite, frozen right off, and one leg took permanent frostbite damage. It ached day and night, and any movement sent a stabbing pain deep into the bone. Now that I'm reborn, my body's fully healed. But that bone-deep, piercing pain, I remember it dead clear. As if right now, it's still shooting up my leg in waves. Animals, all of you just wait. This time, I'm going to settle this account with you, every last bit of it. But don't worry, you'll all live a very long time. Because I'd hate for you to die early and escape this world's suffering so easily. Cursing through gritted teeth, I slowly let out a breath and pushed the emotion back down. Revenge could wait. I had all the time in the world to plan it out slowly, savor it slowly. No rush. The real business right now was hoarding supplies. I pulled out my phone, opened the Notes app, and jotted fast. Food, dry rations first, high nutrient density first. Water, tons of drinking water, plus water for daily use and industrial use. Medicine, warm clothing, the more the better. I listed it out line by line. From agriculture to industry, from survival to entertainment, every last detail. Anything I could think of, I wrote it all down. From here on, I'd roll out my hoarding plan based on this list. Half an hour or so passed, and my thinking was completely clear. I pushed back my chair and stood, ready to set out right away and get started for real. I walked to the door and was just about to push it open. This time, again, it didn't wait for me to act. Bang! A loud crash, and the flimsy wooden door was kicked open. Good thing I wasn't standing too close. Otherwise, that would have left a nice lump on my head. Yo, how's Sue the big scholar in the dorm? Even you, the good honest student, learned to skip class? TSK, TSK, TSK. Impressive, impressive. I thought it was that bootlicking loser Yenhao. The guy who kicked the door came swaggering in with a splayed foot strut, and the moment he opened his mouth, it was a nasal, snide voice. I narrowed my eyes slightly, looking down at him with a smirk. Chung Peng, long time no see. You haven't changed a bit. Chung Peng frowned, totally confused. What do you mean long time no see? Last night? No. This noon? Didn't we just run into each other on the road? Did your brain rot from too much studying? The guy in front of me was under 5'7", a head of dyed blonde hair, a foul-mouthed little punk named Chung Peng. Also a member of room 532. Except the member everyone despised. Backed by family money and shady connections, this guy threw his weight around at Binhai University. Bullying men, harassing women, insulting teachers and elders. You couldn't accuse him wrongly of any of it. He was my roommate in name. But he rented a place off campus, shacked up with a whole crowd including girlfriends number 1, 2, and 3. So in 3 years I barely saw him. And every time I did, it wasn't pleasant. Couldn't be helped. This little punk was a born bad seed, an ill-mannered thing. Contemptuous of everyone. Spewing filth the moment he opened his mouth. Thought he was above heaven and earth. No normal person could ever feel comfortable dealing with trash like that. But before, no one dared actually stand up to him. All because his family had money. Plus some murky, hard-to-explain gray dealings around town. Chung Peng, you're pretty cocky, huh? This time around, I wasn't the least bit scared of him, and I opened with a taunt. Chung Peng froze on the spot. The hell, did Su Ming's skull get shelled? Talking to me like that. He was still stunned when an even more explosive scene came. A fist the size of a clay pot swung straight for the bridge of his nose. Bang! Chung Peng's vision went black, and the whole world started spinning. I got hit by Su Ming. He never would have dreamed it. Su Ming, the honest guy who always kept quiet and buried himself in books, would one day throw a punch at him. And hit that hard, too. Chung Peng lost it. Su Ming, you fool. Bang. Before he could finish cursing, my second hit landed. A solar plexus front kick, full force. Chung Peng got kicked flat, his back slamming into the doorframe wall, coughing violently. Ugh, cough, cough, I screw. Wait a sec. Su Ming, hold on, don't hit me. I curled my lip, paused for the moment, and waited with my arms crossed for what he had to say. Chung Peng caught his breath, swallowing several gulps of spit before steadying himself. His face was pale as he stammered in a panic. What's going on here? Su Ming, what did I ever do to you? I smirked. With that filth-spewing mouth of yours, I need a reason to hit you? Chung Peng was so mad he choked on his words. You? Fine. You just wait. But faced with that killing intent of mine, all the curses he'd been building up, in the end, he didn't dare spit out a single one. He could only throw out a hollow threat. Su Ming, you've got guts. If you're man enough, meet me at the back hill tonight. I curled my lip, stepped right over his head, and my tone couldn't have been flatter. Tonight won't work. I've been busy lately. When I've got time, I'll let you know. Chung Peng was dumbfounded. Huh? Hold on. Are you really this cocky now? What's actually going on? My brain's totally crashed. Watching me stroll off so casually, he was anxious and furious, his head full of question marks. Bang, bang, bang. Chung Peng suddenly slammed his fist into the floor, over and over, his face contorted. Su Ming, you goddamn Su Ming. I don't care what kind of fit you're throwing today. This score is far from settled. Right then and there, Chung Peng whipped out his phone and dialed several numbers in one breath, rallying that whole pack of no-good buddies. For the next few days, they'd be fixated on one thing: coming after me. I walked out of the dorm building and stood once again under the blazing summer sun. I smiled faintly, closed my eyes to feel the warmth, held still for 3 seconds, then started walking again and made my way out of Binhai University in one go. At the school gate, I flagged down a taxi. Driver, take me to the nearest car rental place, please. The car sped along, not much talk. I tilted my head against the window and once again fell into memories of the apocalypse. This time, what came to mind was the Chung Peng I'd just beaten down. The timing was roughly 20 or 30 days after the glacial apocalypse broke out. Relying on his dad's money and those gray connections, Chung Peng had hoarded a good amount of supplies right at the start of the apocalypse and gathered a gang of ruthless thugs. With his supply advantage early on, plus that vicious streak of his and his total disregard for rules, Chung Peng swallowed up both buildings 14 and 15 of Binhai University in one move, becoming a petty warlord in the early apocalypse. During that stretch, he bullied the men and preyed on the women, squeezing his fellow students dry. The men were all driven out to collect supplies, freezing and starving day after day, and still beaten half to death by him and his thugs. The ones beaten dead or crippled were too many to count. The plain-looking women were also sent out to do heavy labor. Only the pretty ones with good figures were kept, for him to abuse whenever he pleased, tormenting them in the sickest ways. A bad seed, a bastard, a thoroughly selfish creature. Of course, the apocalypse was a place that brought out the beast and unleashed ambition. Chung Peng acting this way, out of his own need to survive, wasn't entirely beyond understanding. But he wanted to reach his hand out over my head too. That I couldn't allow. During his rule over the two buildings, this guy's beastly lust and ambition still weren't sated. He planned to drag in us old classmates as well, then work his brand of torment and conquest on us. After all, showing off in front of the good students and cold, aloof goddesses who used to look down on him, that felt even better, even more satisfying to that twisted heart of his. It was over exactly this that I clashed with him violently back then, killed one of his men, and was forced to relocate my survival base. Now, reborn, this old business had gone a bit hazy in my memory. But the moment I saw that face just now, the moment I heard that nasal, foul mouth, the hatred inside me came surging up on its own. So, I just hit him. As for the fallout, the trouble down the line, hey, you kidding? I survived 3 years of extreme survival in the glacial apocalypse. Would I care about a little thing like hitting someone? Not killing him on the spot was already me showing restraint. But not killing you now doesn't mean I won't kill you later, you know. Yeah, this Chung Peng counts as one too. Once the apocalypse comes, I'll find the time to settle up with him slowly, torment him good and proper, and let out this lump of anger stuck in my chest. Just as I was mulling it over, the taxi slowly came to a stop. Hey kid, we're at the rental place. The driver called out in a thick local accent. Yeah. I nodded lightly, paid, and got out. Coming to the car rental place was, naturally, to rent a car. There were still 100 days until the glacial apocalypse, and in those 100 days I had a ton of preparations to make. Renting a car to get around was very necessary. Running through the process took less than half an hour, and I drove out of the rental place. I pulled over to the roadside first, opened my notes, and started planning my next target. Let's go to Runhua Wholesale Market, then. Decision made, I set off right away. Another half hour, and I arrived at Runhua Wholesale Market, driving on in. In an instant, the noise came crashing over me. Everywhere were fruit vendors, fresh food dealers, and retail stall holders busy at work. I randomly found a stall and parked, then walked up to a fruit vendor. Boss, how much for these apples? Wholesale or retail? For myself, not buying much. The moment those words came out, the boss curled his lip on the spot, all his business enthusiasm gone from his face, and tossed off a reply. $8.80 a pound, then. Grab a bag and pick them yourself, then bring them to weigh. Sure, you carry on. Runhua Wholesale Market was the largest in all of Binhai City, the largest in all of Longhua, and even the largest on the entire Far East continent. A super fresh food market. Over 5 million square meters. More than 10,000 vehicles entering daily. Over 12,000 tons of fruit moving through daily. Annual transaction volume starting at 100 billion. And it wasn't just fruit. Seafood, pork, beef, canned goods, all kinds of fresh and cold chain products gathered here. Simply put, this was a super fresh food logistics and warehousing center supplying Binhai City and several surrounding cities. Thinking of this, I couldn't help the corners of my mouth curling up. If I emptied out this whole market, wouldn't I never have to worry about food for the rest of my life? I looked around, and the plan in my mind grew firmer. Yeah, within these 100 days, I'd empty out the entire Runhua Wholesale Market. Just as I was planning, the fruit boss started rushing me. Hey kid, you done picking yet? You people are really something, coming all the way to a wholesale market to buy a few pounds of fruit. Wasting time, holding up my business. TCH. He shook his head with a cold snort, his face full of disdain, brimming with contempt for a bored young retail buyer like me. I frowned slightly, my face gradually turning cold. Being left waiting earlier, I hadn't really minded. The two of us weren't a business match to begin with, and I could understand him not wanting to serve me. But there's no rule saying a wholesale market can't sell retail, right? Since you're still eyeing my few bucks, then turn around and sneer at me with that superior attitude. What's that supposed to mean? Doesn't add up, does it? I ran my tongue over my teeth, my tone turning cold. This box of apples, then. Weigh it, tally it up, I'll take it. The fruit boss's tone was still just as ornery, and he waved a hand. Ugh, fine, fine, no need to weigh it. Give me 100 and haul it off yourself. 100 won't do. I'll take it for 80. You kidding? This little box isn't even half full, probably less than 10 pounds. Opens his mouth and it's 100. Won't do business properly and still wants to gouge me? The fruit boss smirked, but nodded anyway. Fine, 80. Scan the code yourself. I can't be bothered to move. No scanning. I'll pay cash. I reached out and handed over a red bill. Give me 20 back. The fruit boss. Wait, you kid. Picking a fight on purpose, huh? Honestly, forget it. By now, the boss had run out of temper too. Hold on, a clean-cut young man like you. How are you so calm and seasoned? Bullied like this and not a spark of anger? And still in the mood to haggle with me and make me give change? I'm a crooked merchant, you know. Can't you tell? He shook his head, speechless, but decided to earn this $80 anyway. He bent down at once, picked up the big wallet he'd left on the stool, and dug for cash. Here, 20 for you. Off you go, hurry up. That was the moment. While he spent those dozens of seconds digging through his wallet, I used the storage space ability to hook the two big bundles of red bills in his wallet from a distance. Then, the instant he closed the wallet and tossed it back onto the stool. Activate. Whoosh. Those two big bundles of red bills went into my storage space in the blink of an eye. And this whole set of moves was so discreet that the fruit boss didn't notice a thing. I picked up the box of apples I'd bought and went back to the car parked nearby. In no hurry to leave, I casually grabbed an apple, wiped it off, and started munching. Take a break. Wait a bit. See how things play out. I wanted to see what kind of reaction that boss would have once he discovered his money had vanished into thin air. I didn't have to wait long. The good show began. Screw me. Where's my 200 grand in payment? A shriek rang out. It was that crooked fruit boss. I turned to look, and he was frantically rummaging through that big wallet, shouting as he dug. Where's my money? The money's gone. His voice got higher and higher, more and more panicked. Finally, after confirming all his payment money was gone, he completely broke down, plopping onto the ground, clutching his head, his eyes vacant, his pupils dilated. 3 seconds of silence. Then he burst into tears. What a disaster. Wah, boo-hoo-hoo. I just sat there in the car nearby, watching the whole thing play out. Crunch. I took a big hard bite of the apple, chewing with relish, smiling in satisfaction. You crooked merchants who look down on people and treat customers by their appearance. You really do need to be taught a lesson. I shook my head with a soft laugh, started the car, and slowly drove past him in a curve. As I left, I even shot him a mysterious smile. Deed done. I walked away, hiding my accomplishment and name. Little episode over. I'd also tested out the practical use of the storage ability in the field along the way. I was pretty satisfied. As for what that boss would do from here, TCH, who cares? I drove on, heading deep into Runhua Wholesale Market, my eyes scanning left and right now and then, taking in the layout of the whole market. 4 big zones total. The fruit zone is the largest. The fresh seafood zone isn't small either. The rest, dried goods and canned foods, and reserve cold chain, are about the same size. Over 10,000 vehicles in and out every day. Lots of people, lots of eyes, makes it easy for me to borrow things. But security's not bad. The warehouse managers all work 24-hour rotating shifts. That's a bit of a hassle. Driving through it all, then comparing against the park's design plans and zone divisions, I finally had a rough idea in mind. I turned around and drove out of Runhua Wholesale Market, writing my assessment in my notes. Supermarket can be cleared out. But large-scale borrowing isn't advisable early on, easily invites official investigation. I closed the notes and nodded. Give it a few more days. Once I've got a full handle on my abilities in the system, I'll come back and empty out this whole Runhua Wholesale Market in one sweep. Survey done. I wasn't in a rush to hit other reserve depots or wholesale markets. First, I turned into a nearby KFC-style joint, planning to grab some fried chicken to refuel. Push open the door, and in I went, the rich smell of meat rolling into my nose. My mouth started watering fast, and I even felt a little excited. Only because I hadn't smelled this rich meaty aroma in 3 whole years. 3 years, a full 3 years. I really don't know how I made it through those 3 years. No food, so I gnawed on my belt, scraped by on bits of expired snacks. No water, so I melted leftover snow, drank dirty water. Looking back now, it was both painful and nauseating. My fingers trembling slightly, I quietly made up my mind. This life, I will never fall into that kind of misery again. I'm going to live in comfort, well-fed, warm, and cozy. I let out a breath, pushed the emotion down, and walked up to the ordering counter. Looking at the wall full of dazzling burgers and fried chicken, I felt a bit unfamiliar for a moment, hit with decision paralysis. Good thing I still remembered a classic. The family bucket. I'll take 2 family buckets. No, make it 3. The server nodded mechanically. Sure, 3 family buckets. Would you like them packed to go? No, not to go. Dining in. The server looked up at me, and after confirming I was alone, a flicker of confusion crossed her face. I was resolute. I'm eating alone. I've got a big appetite. Okay. Order placed, I waited for the food. Before long, 3 big family buckets were set on my table, cola, burgers, and fried chicken piled into a little mountain. The diners around me all shot me sidelong glances. Whoa, this kid's eating that much. I stayed perfectly composed, paying no mind to those looks, and dug right in. Burger in the left hand, chicken wing in the right, chugging down the extra-large cup of cola in front of me. Once I started eating, I couldn't stop. As if remembering that bone-deep hunger from the apocalypse again, I couldn't bear to waste a bit of food, nor to spend time resting. In the end, in under half an hour, all 3 big buckets were cleared out. Even the chicken bones were sucked clean, not a scrap left. Burp. Downing one last big gulp of iced cola, I felt satisfied, my face full of bliss, and gave my review. Not bad, about 60–70% full. The moment those words came out, the whole restaurant froze, and the chatter exploded. Oh my God, that's only 60–70% full. I can't even finish 1 bucket, and he does 3 by himself. Looks so skinny, how can he eat this much? Pretty handsome too, but why is his eating so savage? Everyone, I can't understand it, but I'm deeply shocked. Well fed and watered, I picked at my teeth and started calculating. Shame. Such tasty fried chicken and burgers, and once the apocalypse comes you won't be able to eat them anymore. Of course, I mean other people won't. As for me, I just store up a big supply in advance with the storage space, right? I'd tested it before. Inside the space, it's basically frozen in time. No worries about any fresh food expiring. Even heat and eat dishes or fried chicken, no problem. Whatever state it goes in, it comes out the same. So before the glacial apocalypse arrives, I just go all out stockpiling good food, and I'm set. Thinking of this, I stood up and walked back to the counter. The little server's expression turned flustered, and she waved her hands repeatedly. Sorry, sir, we're out of family buckets now. How about you take another look at some other items? The corner of my mouth twitched. I'm not here to order. Well, that's not quite right either. I am here to order, but I'm not planning to keep dining in right now. Could you get your store manager out here, please? I'm planning to place a group order. As for quantity, about 1,000 servings. The server froze on the spot. 1,000 servings for a group order. Wow, this was a big customer. The girl didn't dare delay, hurriedly turning and running into the back room, and quickly brought out the manager. Hello, sir. I'm the manager of this fried chicken shop. I heard you'd like to place a large group order. That's right. Let's start with 1,000 servings. I nodded. Each one the size of a family bucket. But mix it up a bit. Don't make it too monotonous. Seeing me speak with such conviction and a serious face, the manager sized up my outfit. Didn't look like a flashy rich kid, but clean and decent, with a standout air, tall and handsome. Really did look like someone with money. He immediately gestured to lead the way. Hello, let's talk inside. We sat down in the meeting room and discussed the details. I brought up a few points based on my rough vision. First, the food has to be delivered promptly, guaranteed hot, best flavor. All cola with ice, and the ice can't melt. The manager frowned. Your requirement might be hard to meet on the logistics side. I raised a hand to cut him off. Logistics isn't a problem. I'll pay. You just make a few more trips. Make it any time, and once you've gathered a decent batch, deliver it. Bottom line, I want it hot and tasty. Can you do that? Money's not a problem? Oh, then, my most esteemed customer, your requirement isn't a problem either. The manager nodded repeatedly. Can do, we can do it. I brought up a few more details, and he said no problem to all of them. All right, that's all my requirements on my end. Do you have any questions? Two. The manager nodded. First, this payment. How do we settle it? Businessmen care most about money, so it was reasonable to ask. I smiled. Today I'll pay 20% as a deposit up front. After that, however many meals you deliver, I'll settle same day. How's that? As I spoke, I pretended to take off my backpack. Actually, I'd already used the storage ability to stuff the money in ahead of time. Where'd this money come from? Don't forget, back at Runwa Wholesale Market, A certain crooked fruit boss had just come up 200 grand short out of nowhere. I pulled a bundle of red bills from the bag, untied it right there, and counted it out. Here, per your quote, 20% is right here. The manager looked at this big bundle of red bills, his eyes lighting up. Definitely a rich kid. Damn, carrying bundles of big bills right on him. Sure thing, the young master's generous. He happily tucked away the deposit, then asked his second question. As for the second one, you've been talking all this while, but you haven't told us where to deliver, huh? Hiss. Right? I hadn't given a delivery address yet. That one stumped me. I frowned slightly, calculating. Delivering straight to the school definitely wouldn't work. Without a temporary spot, it'd be hard to unload and receive, and easy to stir up restless chatter among the students. In that case, I'd probably have to rent a warehouse for now, as a base for this 100-day prep period. Having thought it through, I spoke. Let's add each other on WeChat first. I'll contact you later to confirm the delivery location. Don't worry, I'll cover the delivery costs myself. You just focus on cooking and prepping. Make sure it's fresh and hot enough. Oh right, absolutely no low-quality ingredients or bad oil. I'm sure you'd like to keep working with a generous customer like me, right? The manager slapped his chest hard. Rest assured, young master, your needs are an ironclad order. Guaranteed done, no cutting corners. Take care now. Take care, young master. Let me get the door for you. Mind your head. Watch your step. Young master, come by any time. After bowing and scraping to see me off with utmost respect, the chubby manager finally couldn't hold it in and clapped and cheered like mad. Yahoo woohoo. I just love the rich kid, big brother. One person racked up over half a month's profit for my whole store. This Mr. Sue is truly my god of wealth. Out of the fried chicken shop, I was very calm, strolling slowly to help my food digest while muttering to myself. Let's go rent a warehouse for a base first. I pulled out my phone, looked it up, and dialed a real estate agent. Hello, I'd like to rent a warehouse with the following requirements. All right, you've got listings? Can I view them this afternoon? After some back and forth, the basics were settled. The agent happened to have a warehouse matching my requirements and could arrange a viewing that afternoon. I hung up and checked the time. Still early, no rush. In that case, I might as well wander around this mall for a bit and order some more prepared feasts while I'm at it. Having just ordered 1,000 servings of fried chicken opened up my thinking. Fried chicken was handled, and the other good food couldn't be left out. Pizza, steak, milk tea, cake. As long as it was edible and tasty, I'd order it all. Then stuff it all into the storage space and just wait for the apocalypse to come and enjoy it slowly. Think about it. In the apocalypse, everyone else is struggling to survive, fighting each other over scraps of cold leftovers and expired junk snacks. And me? I get to enjoy the freshest food, mixing it up every which way. This kind of life, it really is something to look forward to. Before I knew it, my mindset seemed to have changed too. I'd actually started to look forward to this glacial apocalypse arriving a little. Plan set, act immediately. I started casually strolling around the big multi-purpose mall in front of me. See a milk tea shop? Go on, head in and order. Let's start with 1,000 cups. Mix the fruit teas and milk teas together. Oh right, half iced and half hot, extra sugar. The shop girl listened with a blank, slightly troubled look. This guy, he's not here to cause trouble, is he? But the moment I pulled out a thick wad of red bills and flashed my power, the girl instantly pulled off a face-changing act. Handsome, please wait a sec. I'll get the manager right away to set you up. The rest of the process was pretty much the same as at the fried chicken shop. Lock in the quote, pay the deposit, leave contact info, all in one smooth go. In the end, I left amid the manager's smiling, bowing send-off. Out of the milk tea shop, I kept walking, kept looking. Oh, there's a steakhouse too? Let's pop in and see. Same trick as before, order another 1,000 servings of steak. Keep going, charge on. Chinese restaurants, dumpling shops, spicy hot pot joints, hot pot places. Anyway, as long as it was open for business and looked tasty, I made a trip. As few as 200 or 300 servings, as many as 800 or 1,000, ordering like crazy. Never mind whether it was too much, never mind whether I'd overeat and waste it. My whole play was that apocalyptic sense of security. The more the better. In the end, this crazy shopping spree of mine actually got the mall's shops buzzing. The bosses all marveled in delight. A VIP, a god of wealth, has descended today. Grab him quick. Right away, every shop sent out their prettiest servers to chase after me. Handsome, try some Hunan cuisine. Young master, our specialty durian barbecue tastes absolutely amazing. Big brother, specialty stinky tofu. Want to give it a try? The fawning was so enthusiastic it even blocked the road, and the crowd of onlookers kept growing. For a moment, it actually made me a little irritated. I raised a hand to quiet them down. Everyone, please calm down. Our company's procurement activity is wrapping up for today. I'll come back when we have more needs. Goodbye, goodbye. Saying that, I quickly retreated, breaking through the crowd's blockade, taking the escalator all the way down, and briskly walked out of the mall. Outside, once I confirmed no one had chased after me, I could finally catch my breath. Shaking my head, I couldn't help but laugh. So this is what it feels like to be rich and throw money around like a boss. It's actually pretty wild. I rested a bit and checked the time. All right, about time. Let's go meet the agent, rent the warehouse, build the secret base. I got back in the car and headed straight for the outskirts of Binhai City. When I reached that near suburb area with few high-rises and scattered factories, I met up smoothly with the real estate agent. Hey, hello. You're Mr. Su Ming, right? Yeah, that's me. Great, follow me. Let's take a look at the warehouse first. The young agent was fairly enthusiastic, leading the way in front while rattling on nonstop. Suji, this warehouse I found perfectly matches your requirements. Plenty of space, a full 1,000 square meters, and it's the two-story setup you wanted, convenient for storage or throwing a party. And you said yourself you don't care about the location, a bit remote is fine. So this warehouse is just right, cheap, great value. I even brought a few other bosses to see it these past few days, walking and touring as we went. Then how come you didn't rent it to them? I asked with a smile. The young guy froze. They were kind of busy. Maybe they let the matter slip. Ha ha. I smiled and said nothing, focusing on sizing up the warehouse while calculating in my mind. It really was a good spot. Too remote and too rundown for others. But for me, remote and rundown was exactly what I wanted. The space was big enough too. Make the upper level a rest and entertainment area, convenient for my living during this 100-day prep period. Disguise the lower level as a factory team building room, convenient for receiving supplies and throwing people off. Having thought it through, I made up my mind. I'd rent this one. What's the quote? I asked flatly. The young guy's face lit up. A fellow like this doesn't say much and speaks sharply, usually acts decisively. This one's got a shot. Rents $28,000 a month, 1 year minimum, paid quarterly, 1 month's deposit. He'd probably figured out I didn't like wasting words, so this time his pitch was concise and clear, all the key points laid out. Negotiable, but I've got a few detailed requirements. Go ahead. First, I'm not paying a deposit. I'll pay the first quarter's rent directly in a bit. Second, $28,000 is too expensive. Either you refit and upgrade the quality per my requirements, or you lower the price. The young guy frowned slightly. No deposit. TSK. If you can really pay the first quarter's rent directly in a bit, then that works. As for lowering the rent, how about you tell me your renovation requirements first? Maybe we really can renovate it for you, so it's convenient for you later, and on my end, a bit more profit too. Haha. Have to say, this kid was still green, hadn't picked up that slippery cunning of a seasoned middle-aged operator. Half hiding, half revealing his words, his sales patter wasn't quite there. But that was fine too. Doing business with a naive kid like this was direct and hassle-free. Second floor, put a few beds in for me, all made up. Then a set with a big office desk, boss chair, sofa, tea table. Basically outfitted as an office lounge area, got it? Don't buy expensive furniture, just enough to use. First floor's simple. Set up 50 big round tables, each with 10 red plastic stools. Like the setup for a big village banquet, you get it. The young guy nodded repeatedly. Got it. I'm from the countryside too, totally understand. So, do you want to take on the renovation? I smiled. The young guy gritted his teeth, his eyes darting, then nodded. All right, we'll handle this part for you. Give us a week, and you can come collect it directly. A week won't do. I frowned. Then 3 days? That's already the fastest. Labor and logistics all have to be arranged. I turned my head, looking at him with a calm expression. 1 day? Tomorrow, I want to see results. Oh, 1 day? Come on, Suji, that's really impossible. Let him make excuses and fret. I didn't respond, just pulled out my wallet and started counting cash. 2,000, a little tip just for you personally. Put in some overtime tomorrow and get it done. Deal. Wait, he's giving a tip? The young guy immediately shut his mouth, staring at that wad of red bills, unable to help swallowing, his mind a bit dazed. Oh, so this is how rich kids do things? Tossing out cash as tips, really that casual, huh? Hesitating for 3 seconds, he nodded hard. All right, tomorrow it is. Suji, rest assured, I'm going back right now to put in overtime and round up people. Tomorrow afternoon. Same time. You just come and collect. I was satisfied. Nice. Young people should work harder, put in overtime, and earn money. That's the way. The young guy's face was all smiles as he squeezed out a fawning look. Yes, yes, yes. Well said. Suji's got vision. A man who makes big money. Watching me drive off, the agent's smile slowly faded. Ugh, these rich kids really got money. Buying such a remote warehouse for an office and setting up 50 banquet tables. What's the point of it all? He couldn't figure it out no matter how he thought about it. Then he shrugged with a grin and waved his hand. TCH, whatever. The guy pays big and acts flashy. As long as there's profit in it for me, I'm good. Driving along, I kept calculating. What else did I need to do next? What was urgent? What could wait? Finally, I made up my mind. Tonight, first find a hotel to stay at. Then late at night, officially launch the first borrowing supplies operation. With a clear goal, my driving had direction too. Soon, I reached a fairly bustling residential commercial district. I parked and looked around, then nodded. Big supermarkets, check. Fresh fruit shops, small and mid-sized supermarkets, convenience stores, all here too. A decent testing ground. I found a serviced apartment hotel nearby and checked in, just waiting for night to fall so I could start borrowing supplies. But before officially making my move, I still had to scope out the surrounding environment, settle on specific targets, and do the prep work solidly. I headed downstairs light and easy and started strolling the streets to case the joints. Let's check out this daily goods supermarket downstairs first. Walking into this mid-sized supermarket, a bustling liveliness hit me in the face. Uncles and aunties shuttling back and forth, gathered around the meat counters and vegetable bins, picking carefully. My eyes swept over the place, and I quickly grasped the layout. The left area is daily goods, snacks, and tools. The right is mainly produce and cold chain fresh meat. Clear separation of active and quiet zones, decently designed. Wait, is that their warehouse? Following a stocker's movements hauling goods, I found the supermarket's warehouse too, and made a mental note. Couldn't miss this spot tonight. Once I had the internal layout down, I started looking for new targets. Where are the monitoring room and the electrical room? To come borrow supplies, I planned to shut off the cameras before making my move. Even though I had the invisibility ability and wasn't afraid of being spotted, if the cameras happened to capture the terrifying footage of supplies vanishing into thin air with a whoosh, it could still easily invite official investigation and public buzz. Early on, I wanted to keep a low profile. Laying low was most important. After some searching, I successfully found the monitoring room and the electrical room, and even got an unexpected bonus. In the monitoring room, I found the whole supermarket's spare key ring. I immediately activated invisibility and just borrowed it. Out of this supermarket, I hefted the key ring in my hand, very satisfied. This makes it even easier. No need to force any doors, I can quietly get the whole job done. Having surveyed the first mid-sized supermarket, I didn't stop and kept wandering around the area. Afterward, following the same method, I visited a tobacco and liquor shop, a tea shop, and 3 small convenience stores. Acting covertly with the invisibility ability, I got these shops' keys in hand ahead of time too. At this point, everything was ready, and the time had come to just past 10 at night. I dropped my invisibility and swaggered back to the hotel, fully exposed to the cameras. This was deliberate, faking an alibi. As long as I turned invisible the moment I left the hotel late at night, everything that happened tonight would go completely undetected, leaving no record. Back in my room, I made a point of checking it over, confirming there were no cameras, before I could relax. Sleep first, restore my energy. I slept straight through until just past 1 in the morning. I got up, took a shower, and once my energy was back, I activated invisibility, pushed the door open a crack, and slipped out. From this moment on, all my movements sped up immediately. Briskly down the stairs, jogging straight for that daily goods supermarket. First into the monitoring room and electrical room to sabotage the surveillance system. Then, using the key I'd gotten ahead of time, I successfully got inside the supermarket. The supermarket at 2 in the morning was completely empty, dead silent. And since I'd wrecked the electrical room and cameras, the place was now pitch black, with only a few scattered emergency lights glowing faintly. Perfect. Dark night, high winds, good for action. No time to waste, I sped up and got to work. First to the left side of the supermarket, and I activated the storage ability straight away. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Sweeping as I walked, the rows and rows of snacks on the shelves went into my storage space in an instant. In under 30 seconds, I'd swept clean an entire wall of shelving. The sense of gain was overwhelming. Without pause, I turned and swept another wall. Every bit of supply my fingertips touched went into the space. Another 30 seconds, and this side was cleared too. Looking at my handiwork, I gave a quiet smile. Efficiency was really high. Charge on. Over the next 7 or 8 minutes, I didn't stop for a moment, sweeping through the daily goods and snacks in the left half of the supermarket. Only when row after row of shelves had nothing left did I stop, satisfied, to catch my breath. But it was right then, the moment my taut nerves relaxed, a slight wave of dizziness suddenly rushed into my head. Ugh, a bit tired? Though the dizziness was mild, it still left me feeling uncomfortable and worn out. I immediately caught on. Looks like frequent use of the storage ability also drains the body and mental energy, same as the invisibility ability. Makes sense too, in line with conservation of energy. This fatigue put me back on edge. Time. Maybe it isn't as ample as I thought. I'd assumed that, going by the 30-minute limit on invisibility, I'd have 30 minutes of sweeping time too. But now, factoring in the mental drain of the storage space, I figured full throttle time was only a little over 20 minutes. Had to hurry. No time to think it over. I dove right back in. Next target, the fruit and fresh goods in the right half. Quickening my pace, arms spread wide, making sure not to miss a single item. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Another 5 minutes passed. I'd pushed halfway through the right half and reached the vegetable section. Here I stopped. These potatoes and cabbages are too loose. Am I supposed to touch them one handful at a time, slowly collecting them into the space? No good. That's way too inefficient. The vegetables weren't bundled, weren't connected, and collecting them piecemeal was just too slow. A little problem had me stuck. Hey, wait. Can I collect the whole shelf in one go? My thinking suddenly opened up. Why fixate only on the supplies themselves? Collect the containers holding the supplies along with them. Would that work? No sooner said than done. I retested the ability's usage. Sure enough, I'd guessed right. The shelf could be collected all at once. That solved the problem of loose, hard-to-collect vegetables and potatoes with ease. Overjoyed, I quickly sped up, ramping up my sweep around the vegetable and prepared food sections. This time, collecting shelves and all, efficiency was even higher. In under 3 minutes, everything left in the right half was cleared out. But no sooner had this part been finished than another wave of fatigue and nausea surged up. This one hit hard, almost made me want to throw up. I braced against the wall to steady myself, my mind continuing to analyze. Looks like collecting the shelf along with it also increases the drain. Is it calculated by volume and weight? Remains to be tested later. Practice had cleared up some of my doubts and raised some new ones. But there was no time to dwell on it now. I could only set it aside and, once I'd finished tonight's main task of borrowing supplies, find time to test it in detail. I braced against the wall and rested for 2 straight minutes. My body recovered, no more dizziness or nausea. I hurried on at once, heading for the backup warehouse I'd scoped out earlier. Time was tight, no dawdling. At the warehouse door, I pulled out the key ring and tried each one. Went fairly smoothly, and in under 30 seconds I'd found the right one. Click, and the warehouse door opened. I went straight in. Stepping into the warehouse and looking around, I smiled. Nice. None of that fancy shelving from outside. Everything piled together, faster to collect. No time to waste. I jogged back and forth collecting. Snacks, daily goods, fresh fruit, seasonings, small tools. Regardless of type, and never mind whether they were actually useful, I collected everything in sight. The more I collected now, the more secure I'd feel once the apocalypse arrived. This round took about 5 more minutes. Looking at the whole supermarket again, empty, completely cleaned out. By this point, my body and mind were pretty much at their limit. Nausea, fatigue, and dizziness all piled on. I just wanted to rest quick, drink some water, and eat something to refuel. Gotta go fast. Without hesitation, I briskly slipped out of the supermarket. Reaching the roadside, I didn't dare stop right away. I forced myself to keep the invisibility going, rounded a few corners, and came to a silent, deserted patch of bushes. Only after confirming there was absolutely no camera coverage did I let out a breath and drop the invisibility. Huff, huff, huff. Screw me sideways, I really am kinda tired. The exhaustion from overusing my ability hit its peak at this moment. I sat right down and hurried to catch my breath and adjust. I casually pulled a piece of bread and a bottle of milk from the storage space and started wolfing them down. Don't know if it was related to overusing the ability, but right now my stomach was ravenous, and that urge to eat just couldn't be suppressed. I polished off 3 big pieces of bread and chugged 2 bottles of milk in one go before that extreme hunger slowly receded. At the same time, the fatigue and dizzy nausea eased up too. Phew. First operation, it really was rushed after all, plenty of little problems. But I've banked some valuable experience. Borrowing supplies from now on will be a lot smoother. This rest lasted quite a while, a full hour, before I recovered completely. I stood up and stretched my arms and legs, murmuring, "All right, let's keep going." Hey, wait. How about I test the storage space's limits and usage details first? Understanding my own abilities is important. No sooner said than done. I first found a huge boulder and tried collecting it. Success on the first try, no problem. First experiment record. This rock was roughly 300 pounds, but still pretty far from my collection limit. No strain at all. Looking around, I found a new target. A three-box family sedan. I quietly circled around behind the car and tried again. This time there was a bit of a hitch. Not that I failed to collect it, but after collecting the car, that wave of fatigue and nausea came right up. Clearly, the car's weight had faintly brushed against a threshold, probably already nearing my current collection weight limit. I jotted down another note. Max single collection weight, about 2 tons. Getting a result on the first item, I was fairly satisfied. Afterward, I ran a few more tests, wanting to fully grasp this ability's boundaries. In the end, I reached a few conclusions. 1. Single collection weight limit is about 2 tons. Exceeding 2 tons drains mental energy severely. Use with caution. 2. The ability can be released continuously for about 30 minutes. Go over and you get mental fatigue, nausea, and the urge to vomit. 3. Max range for remote release is 1 meter. Within 1 meter, I can collect without physical contact. Having grasped the limits, I felt more grounded, my confidence stronger. This way, going forward, I can avoid the dangers of overexertion and exposing my identity. I rested another half hour or so, and once my body and mind had fully recovered, I officially returned to tonight's main task of borrowing supplies. Invisibility on, running full tilt, straight for a small convenience store I'd scoped out earlier. At the convenience store door, I used the same trick, pulling out the key I'd borrowed ahead of time, opened the door easily, and swaggered in. Compared to that mid-sized supermarket earlier, this convenience store was much smaller, maybe 60 or 70 square meters total. A few rows of shelves, a few freezers, layout clear at a glance, and no dedicated electrical room or monitoring room. Security was crude. Crude as it was, I didn't drop my guard one bit. I still cut the power and destroyed all the cameras before officially making my move. Jogging from the door all the way in. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Beverage fridges, ice cream freezers, temporary shelves, daily goods racks. Nothing spared, all collected. Then a turn around, collecting again from inside out in reverse. In under 10 minutes, done. That efficiency was truly terrifying. Once the outer area was cleared, I looked deeper in. Big or small, anyone running a supermarket or convenience store has to have a stockroom, right? I felt along the wall, and sure enough, a push on one wall swung open a hidden door. I gave a soft laugh and shook my head. Pretty interesting, camouflaged it. I slipped into the stockroom, and there was another wave of abundant supplies, cola, instant noodles, and chips piled all over the floor. No time to waste. I fired up the ability at full power. Collect, 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 all of it for your grandpa here. 2 or 3 minutes, and the small stockroom was taken too, leaving only an empty space. Fully satisfied, I briskly turned and left. Outside the store, I didn't rush to drop the invisibility either. As usual, I found a deserted corner before relaxing and resting. This round I rested half an hour, back to full health. Keep going. After that, following the same routine, I cleaned out 2 more nearby convenience stores, not a scrap of supply left. By this point, the time had reached 5 in the morning. I made up my mind. One last speed run, sweep the tobacco liquor shop and the tea shop clean too, then head back to the hotel to sleep. Invisibility on, charging on. This time the new target was an antique-style tea shop. Fancy decor, can't quite make sense of it. Inside the shop, one glance at the tea displayed on those mock antique shelves, and I basically didn't recognize any of it. But no matter, it was all clearly priced. Looking it over, easily several hundred a pound. Not cheap after all. Hey wait, it's not per pound. It's several hundred per 100 grams. All right, my worldview was too small, hadn't seen the world. I shook my head with a laugh, stopped fussing over it, and got to work as usual. Collect, 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 I'll take it, all of it. 5,000, 8,000, 10,000. This round was even more satisfying. Made a killing. Compared to the common snacks and odds and ends at the supermarkets and convenience stores, this time I was collecting all tea, which oddly gave me a fresh thrill. Before I knew it, I'd started fantasizing about the good days ahead. In that cold glacial apocalypse, brewing a pot of stomach-warming black tea, sipping it slowly, lounging lazily on the sofa, watching the people outside the fortress struggle to survive, watching my enemies from my past life kowtow and beg for handouts. What a scene, truly a beautiful scene, something to look forward to. Along with this lovely fantasy, I swept the tea shop clean too. Record-breaking speed, the whole thing under 10 minutes, super efficient. I briskly left the shop, and this time I just didn't rest, hurrying without pause to the tobacco liquor shop next door to keep sweeping. Look at that, such an industrious little bee, so worthy of admiration. Let me just ask one thing. Friend, have you ever seen Binhai City at 5 in the morning? While others were still fast asleep, I'd already put in nearly 4 full hours. This diligence, doesn't it deserve to be emulated? To which I can only say, low profile, low profile. Sneak into the village quietly, hold your fire, make trouble in the night, and tomorrow just sit back and wait for the news to blow up. Into the tobacco liquor shop, same as usual, easy to open the door and reap the harvest. The Matai, Wuliangya, and other baijiu on the shelves, I collected every last bottle. The remaining red wine, whiskey, and other foreign liquors weren't spared either, everything collected. Sure, I'm no drunk, but in the freezing apocalypse, a few gulps of strong liquor to warm up would still come in handy. In under 5 minutes, all the liquor in front of me was cleared. Turning around, I set my sights on the cigarettes at the counter. Furong, 1916, Zhonghua, quite a few premium ones. Collect them, all of them. Loose cigarettes, whole cartons, not one spared. Rough estimate, these cigarettes alone were worth at least 100 grand or so. Add the liquor. Those cases of Matai and vintage-aged liquor were precious, and this round was probably worth over $1 million. Truly satisfying. Of course, money is just waste paper in the apocalypse, too stiff to even wipe your ass with. I didn't care about it at all. What I cared about was this feeling, the sense of security, and that exhilarating thrill. Having cleaned out the whole tobacco liquor shop, tonight's main task of borrowing supplies came to a perfect close. Summed up in 8 words, bountiful harvest, extremely satisfying. All right, hurry back to the hotel and rest. It's almost dawn, this night's been exhausting. Invisible the whole way, I returned to my room silently, did a quick wash-up, and lay down. Frantically using my abilities all night was truly draining, and less than 2 minutes after lying down I passed out cold. When I woke again, it was already noon. Ugh, so tired, so hungry. I shook my head as I came to, still a bit worn out, but the hunger was obvious. I didn't lounge in bed, quickly getting up to wash and opening the local news app for a close read. Sure enough, there's coverage. In no time I found what I wanted to see. Shocking. Binhu District supermarket emptied overnight. Suspected inside job. Astounding. 3 convenience stores on the same street all robbed. Tobacco liquor and tea shop goods vanish without a trace. Losses over $1 million. Is it the collapse of morality or the twisting of human nature? Goods vanish. Who did it? Every article was playing up one word. Bizarre. All about last night's thefts. I picked a few and skimmed, then smiled. All nonsense, not a shred of useful info, but plenty of absurd stories cooked up. Reading them, I grew even more at ease. These reports weren't pointing at me at all. The public, the media, the authorities, everyone was still completely baffled, totally clueless. Click. I turned off my phone, went downstairs, and checked out. But I didn't rush to drive off. Instead, I walked back on foot to the scene of the crime. Revisiting old haunts. Maybe it was some guidance from fate. Anyway, I just wanted to go see how the place was doing now. Of course, it wasn't pure curiosity. Gathering a bit more intel would make it easier to keep borrowing later. Strolling leisurely to last night's supermarket, I was mildly surprised. Oh, still this many people gathered here. There really were quite a few gawkers watching the show. I disguised myself as a passerby too and craned in for a look. A batch of uniformed officials had gathered in the supermarket, looked like police and investigators. But seeing them all worried, scratching their heads, frowning in thought, clearly, faced with such an absurd case, they had no idea where to even begin the investigation. I smiled faintly, feeling even more settled inside. A supernatural situation this absurd is enough to stump you lot. My advice, stop investigating and get some good rest. Having seen the authorities' reaction, I didn't rush off. Instead, I turned to listen in on the chatter of the gawkers around me. Old man, eh? Definitely an inside job. Otherwise, how could it all be hauled off in one night? Auntie, eh? Exactly. I come here every day, and I noticed that little cashier girl had a nasty look about her long ago. Humph, it's gotta be her. She even overcharged me 50 cents last time. Old man B. What puzzles me is a commotion this big, and nobody noticed at night. Auntie B. TCH, I heard the cameras didn't catch anything. Those goods just vanished into thin air. Yee, really like it's haunted, scary. Having heard this senior intelligence team's discussion, I had a good picture. This whole operation of mine has already put the surrounding folks on alert. Tonight I definitely can't stick around and work here. TCH, fine, let's switch districts and go at it randomly. As the saying goes, a wily rabbit has 3 burrows. Fire a shot and move on. You can't keep milking one spot dry, draining the pond to catch the fish, or people will start guarding against it. No need to fixate on one sheep. Even though I now had the 2 great abilities of invisibility and storage backing me, and my operations were very safe, out of an abundance of caution, I'd still switch spots tonight. Nothing else, just following one principle: lay low. Lay low and you're safe. A sense of security is happiness. Having made up my mind, I drove off at once, skipping a whole district, moving from Binhu district to the high-tech district. The high-tech development zone was also a bustling area. Plenty of tech parks, plus mixed-use malls, crowded with ordinary folks. In other words, supplies were abundant, making it easy and fruitful for me to borrow. I found a big mall to park, went in to browse casually, observed the situation, and calculate in my mind. Last night was the first time. Decent result, bountiful harvest, but plenty of little problems along the way, and efficiency has room for improvement. Today, let's just not bother with so many small convenience stores and tobacco liquor shops. Running back and forth, switching targets constantly, wastes too much time. Hit one place big, that's more efficient. I looked up at the 5-story super mall in front of me and smiled faintly. You're the one then. Tonight's operation target, this mixed-use mall. Target set. I cased the joint on the spot, browsing from the 1st floor to the 5th, studying each level carefully, making sure I had the routes and layout down cold. That way my nighttime operation would be efficient, and if I hit an emergency and had to retreat, I could leave calmly too. Having seen it all, I had a rough map in mind. 1st floor, jewelry and gold shops, plus luxury goods and cosmetics. Collect whatever's easy to grab. 2nd floor, clothing, valuable, take it all. 3rd floor, kids' play area and furniture shops, not much value, skip selectively depending. 4th floor, odds and ends, mainly daily goods, valuable, take it all. 5th floor, cinema, arcade, restaurants, low supply stockpiling value, skip. Rough plan done, I felt grounded. But there were still some prep tasks to handle first. Same routine, find the electrical room and monitoring room, and sabotage these 2 spots before making my move, for safety. Then find keys and deal with the patrolling security. A mixed-use mall this big wasn't like those unattended small shops from last night. There'd definitely be guards on duty at night. How to handle these living people and minimize the risk of suspicion and discovery was an important prep problem. My idea was crude. Just go straight into the monitoring room and duty room and knock everyone out. Yeah, just that direct. No drugging or kidnapping or other fancy stuff. Too time-consuming and too much hassle. Knock them out and be done. As for the hidden dangers and exposure risk, I didn't care, because I'd long anticipated it. As my crazy supply borrowing kept expanding, I'd definitely get suspected and investigated down the line. That's unavoidable. So if I really can't hide it, then I just won't. No giving up eating for fear of choking, delaying my apocalypse prep over it. As long as I use invisibility well, leave no evidence, and don't get caught in the act, I'm fine. As for the rest, rack your brains, investigate however you like. Missing kids go uncracked for hundreds of days, murderers stay on the run for years, and a guy with a supernatural invisibility ability like me is going to get tracked down by you? You're kidding. And as long as I make it through this 100-day prep period, once the glacial apocalypse descends, who cares anymore? With intent to search, in no time I'd located the security duty room and the monitoring electrical room, each with 1 guard on watch. That's the most they'd have at night. Not hard to deal with. I confirmed it. The guard in the duty room had the keys to most of the mall's areas hanging on him. Take him out first at night and get the keys, and getting around afterward would be convenient. The monitoring room had to be sabotaged ahead of time too, staying as hidden as possible to lower the odds of discovery. At this point, casing the mall was all done. Check the time, it was past midday. No rush, eat first. Ever since going through that extreme survival in the glacial apocalypse, I now take a pretty open view of life. My own happiness and comfort matter a lot, and eating, drinking, and having fun can't be skipped. Besides, I'd used my abilities too hard last night, and my body really needed heavy replenishment to speed up recovery. Looks like there's a Hedaleo-style hot pot on the 5th floor, not too crowded right now. Let's go try it. Riding the escalator up to the 5th floor, I didn't even need to walk in myself. The enthusiastic Hedaleo server called out. "How many, sir?" Coming to Hedaleo, I nodded, followed a waitress in, and ordered the broth base and dipping ingredients as usual. There was a little episode here. The amount of food I ordered was really too much, and the server kindly reminded me, "Sir, if it's just you, I'd suggest ordering half portions first to avoid waste." I shook my head with a smile. No half portions, no cutting the amount, just bring it as is. I've got a big appetite. The waitress froze. Okay. Whatever, the customer ordered it, so as long as he pays, it's his call. Sipping sour plum juice and waiting a while, the broth and ingredients all arrived, and I dug in. Beef tripe, beef, lamb, shrimp paste, pork throat cartilage, all kinds of ingredients straight into the pot. Spicy heat filled my mouth, scalding meat went down, and my taste buds climbed higher and higher. This meal, I ate it in true comfort, satisfied and happy. Well fed and watered, I lazily leaned against the sofa to rest, mulling things over as I went. Once the apocalypse comes, all these shops shut down, and this kind of enjoyment is gone for good. Silent for a moment. Oh right, doesn't Hedaleo do takeout? Then I just order a few hundred servings and store them up, right? Following the same route as ordering fried chicken yesterday, I immediately called over the waitress beside me. "Hey, hi, I'd like to order a few servings of your hot pot set." The waitress smiled attentively. "Sure, about how many would you like, sir?" Let's start with 1,000 servings." Huh? The waitress froze on the spot. Only after confirming I was serious and hadn't lost my mind did she hurriedly say, Please wait. I'll go get the manager." The rest of the process was much like the several orders yesterday. In the end, I paid a 20% deposit and placed an order for 1,000 Hedaleo group servings. Under the manager's attentive escort, I left the shop and browsed the other restaurants on the 5th floor as I went, calculating in my mind. Mom and Dad left me quite a bit of money when they passed, and I've been frugal and hardly spent it. Sweeping those shops last night, I picked up a few tens of thousands in cash too. Might as well follow yesterday's thinking and place a few more rounds of ready-to-eat feasts at this mall. This money's useless in the apocalypse if I don't spend it anyway. I pursed my lips, and just as I was calculating, I quickly overruled myself. No. Tonight's operation target is this mall, so I should keep a low profile right now. Throwing money around and showing off here in daytime, causing an unusual stir, would only make it easier to invite investigation. Out of caution, I gave up the idea of ordering right now, deciding to make the calls remotely once my temporary base was set up. So for now, let's just go case a few more spots around the mall. Other convenience stores, hardware shops, furniture stores and such, can't let those slip either. Out of the big mall, I strolled around the surrounding area a bit, scouting out a few more convenience stores and tobacco liquor shops, counting them into tonight's operation targets too. The more the better. Prep a few extra spots, and if the mall gets wrapped up quick, I can knock them out on the way back. When you're seriously getting things done, time flies. It didn't feel like I'd been surveying long, but one glance at my watch, and it was already past 5 in the afternoon. About time. Picked a few spots. Tonight's mission is definitely going to be a full load. Right now, rest a bit first. But no sooner did I think of resting than a new task came. Ring, ring, ring. My phone rang. I looked. It was that young agent from yesterday. Could it be the warehouse renovations done? I picked up. "Hello, young Master Sue. Per your requirements yesterday, the warehouse is all set up on our end. When are you free today to come take it over?" "All right, got it. Head over and wait a bit. I'll be there around 6. Sure thing. No rush, no rush. You take your time." I hung up and set off with a smile. Soon I arrived at yesterday's warehouse at the agreed time. Before the car had even come to a stop, the young agent came jogging over to pull my door open. "Young Master Sue, you really are decisive and swift." I got out and stood, first glancing at the warehouse, then nodded. "Let's go in and see the results." After you." The young guy led the way, and the two of us stepped into the warehouse. Sure enough, it had transformed. As far as the eye could see, the first floor was packed with large round tables, arranged really like a big village banquet, the kind for weddings and funerals. Crude and monotonous as it was, it felt like enough. I nodded to myself. There's a camouflage effect. This way, ordering large amounts of food later wouldn't arouse suspicion. Seeing me stay quiet, the young guy hurriedly launched into his pitch. "Young Master Sue, don't let it look crude. These tables and chairs are all quality material. No matter how you sit or press on them, they won't break." I waved my hand. Fine, got it. Let's go upstairs and see." The two of us went up to the second floor. The layout was much more complex than downstairs. Boss chair, office desk, bed, sofa, arranged really just like a factory boss's office. The young guy's mouth was busy, continuing his pitch. "Young Master Sue, look over here. We made a private room specially for you, with water, electricity, and full plumbing all hooked up." "Oh, This level of prep too? I followed him into the private room for a look, and it really was nicely arranged. A big round bed, soft sofa, office desk and chair, big wardrobe all present, plus plumbing, water, and electricity all outfitted. Not exactly luxurious, but the details were there, very convenient for daily living. I couldn't help but marvel inside. Way better than the school dorm, starting to have a taste of enjoyment. Seeing this, I was fairly satisfied and nodded. All right, I can tell you put in the effort. Having gotten the boss's approval, the young guy hurriedly answered with a smile, a bit smug too. It's all right, all right. The rest fell into place naturally. I paid up cleanly, settling the warehouse's first quarter of rent. At the end, the two of us said our goodbyes at the warehouse door. The young guy's face was all smiles, nothing but flattery, all about how rich and generous, handsome and tall I was. I just smiled the whole way, not saying much. But at the very end, as he got on his e-bike, he abruptly asked a serious question. Young Master Sue, I've got one doubt. Renting this warehouse, what exactly are you after? I can't quite understand it. I raised an eyebrow, pursed my lips, keeping calm. Got lots of friends, and I wanted a place to hang out when we're free, throw a party, have a meal. A bit remote, so we can have fun without disturbing others. Simple as that. The young guy looked thoughtful. Oh, I get it. Isn't this just the secret base we played in as kids, stashing some snacks and drinks, eating and chatting together? Thinking about it now, those days were really happy, so free and easy. Seeing him suddenly wax sentimental, I smiled and silently nodded. Then I abruptly tossed out a line. Stock up on some snacks and supplies at your own home too. Eat them when you're free, savor the memories. Just in case you get trapped in some emergency, you can hold out a few more days too, right? Stockpile supplies at home. An emergency? Facing my deep gaze, the young guy looked puzzled. Is young Master Sue reminding me, hinting at something? Sure. I'll go buy more instant noodles and ham sausages later. Well, that's it then, young Master Sue. No need to see me off, I'll head out first. His little e-bike started up, and he sped off into the distance. Watching that gradually shrinking figure, I murmured, stockpiling supplies can let you live a few more days, freer and more grounded than others. But what comes after that? Just barely hanging on, doesn't seem to make much difference. Given that the young guy did things fairly efficiently and was careful and attentive, I dropped him a very veiled hint. As for whether he'd listen or act on it, I didn't care. Turning to enter my temporary secret base, I sealed all the doors and windows tight, drew the thick blackout curtains, making sure the place couldn't be glimpsed by anyone. This area was suburban, remote enough to begin with, but doing this gave me a sense of security. For someone who survived 3 years in the apocalypse, nothing matters more than a sense of security. Having done all this, I picked up my phone and contacted the several restaurants I'd ordered from yesterday. Hello, KFC place? This is Su Ming. Yeah, the delivery address is set. You can start delivering in batches tomorrow during the day. Hello, Hetaleo, right? You can start delivering tomorrow. Hello, Lingxiangzi Hunan Cuisine? Hello. Getting through several calls in a row, I finally had the food orders completely locked down. Setting down my phone, I leaned into the soft sofa to catch my breath, murmuring my calculations. Starting tomorrow, in the daytime I'll hold down this place, placing large orders while receiving them in batches. In the afternoon and evening I'll go out to scout, picking that day's borrowing targets. As for the most crucial part, late night is the main battlefield for my stockpiling. Plan all arranged, I suddenly felt full of purpose and something to strive for. For safety and happiness in the apocalypse, charge. I sprang up from the sofa and set out once more. Tonight's operation to empty the mall was about to begin. Driving all the way back to the high-tech district, I first ate and rested, then lay low and waited until the dead of night. In a secluded, deserted open park, at one parking spot, a car door slowly opened, yet not a soul could be seen. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Faint sounds mixed with the wind. It felt like there was something strange in the air, yet the eyes just couldn't see it. The moment invisibility was on, I didn't want to waste time, jogging all the way straight for the mall. First target, the monitoring electrical room. I'd cased it in the afternoon, so the operation was second nature now. No stopping to pick routes, just charge, super efficient. In no time I'd reached the monitoring room. Creak. I quietly pushed the door and went in. Who's there? The young night shift guard whipped his head around. Weird, no one. A perfectly closed door, opening on its own. Is it broken? Screw. Just as he was puzzling over it, about to get up and close the door again, I struck. A knife hand chopped to the back of his neck, and he was knocked out cold on the spot. This scene was like a movie spy or assassin, looked a bit far-fetched. Strikes really that precise? can really knock someone out? In fact, I really can do it. From 3 years of extreme survival in the glacial apocalypse, I'd been greatly tempered. Battling the extreme cold hardened my will. Fighting wasteland beasts for food toughened my body. Trading with cunning people broadened my horizons. Naturally, over those 3 years my combat skills got honed solid too. A precise knockout chop looks far-fetched, but once you've got the knack, it's not hard. And that's not my only trick. Now, when I really throw down with people, barehanded I can take on 3, even 5, and turn it around to break free with no problem. Grab a weapon and 7 or 8 guys don't faze me. Getting off track. Back to business. Having knocked out the monitoring guard, I cut off the whole surveillance system and the power along with it. Only at this step did I feel a bit more settled. Each extra layer of prep lowers the risk of being targeted by that much. Same as I said, drawing attention is only a matter of time. But as long as I safely make it through these 100 days, everything resets to 0. That happy and beautiful, frozen new world will redistribute all resources in the most violent, most direct, most brutal way. Having dealt with the monitoring room, I didn't linger, hurrying toward the duty room. There was still a night patrol guard, an older man here. If he were awake, tonight's supply borrowing operation would very likely be exposed, inviting a big manhunt. So he had to be taken down too, letting him sleep quietly through the night. Briskly turning left and right, I reached the duty room. Same routine, one knife hand chop, and he was down. Ow. With a whimper, the older guard toppled over, falling unconscious. I searched quickly. Hey, found it. My eyes locked onto the target at once. The ring of access keys to the mall's various areas. Clatter, clatter. Unhooking the key ring, I was fully satisfied. All right, this makes it even more convenient. Ready to go, time to act. Break into a run. First floor, start the harvest. Chow sang sang, chow tai fuk, luck fuk. I walked past a row of jewelry and gold shop counters, wanting to see if the gold, silver, and jewelry were still there. If they're still in the counters, I might as well collect them into the space too. Sure, I can't think of what use they'd be in the apocalypse right now, but having is better than not. Prep a bit extra, and who knows when it'll come in handy. Briskly reaching the gold and jewelry counter, I looked closely with anticipation. Sadly, disappointing. The transparent counter was empty. Such precious gold ornaments and jewelry had long been collected by the staff. A bit regretful, I shook my head and was about to move on, when my gaze happened to sweep over and spot something clever. Behind the counter, a safe. Metal, looking heavy and solid, full of quality. I immediately caught on. All right, the staff would collect them, but they can't haul and relay them every day, so they must be locked in a safe. Having figured this out, I flipped over the counter and got close to study the safe and made another discovery. Whoa, the whole safe is connected to the ground. Anti-theft, anti-removal, pretty thoroughly considered. I pursed my lips, my eyes rolling, and smirked. Shame though. Your cameras, your safe, your guards, they'll stop ordinary people, but not a cheat like me. My gaze sharpened, and I struck directly. A flick of intent, and I activated collection on the floor tiles anchoring the safe. In an instant, the whole patch of tiles along with the safe itself was collected into the storage space in one go. Because this process finished in a flash, within that near-frozen space, there wasn't even a whisper of sound, dead quiet. Looking at this successful attempt, I was very satisfied. Sure enough, the thinking's right. Used cleverly, the storage ability can even serve as small-scale demolition and blasting. Last night's extreme testing was so necessary. The supply borrowing operation was off to a good start. Without pause, I turned to reap the other gold shops and jewelry counters. Thinking of all that expensive gold and exquisite jade jewelry falling into my hands, I couldn't help but marvel. The luxury goods I once couldn't afford are all being collected by yours truly now, easy as pie. This feeling, it really is satisfying, really interesting. 3 minutes, and the first floor jewelry zone was all reaped. I turned and set my sights on the cosmetics area, luxury counters, and watch shops beside it. These small, refined things were just as precious. Since I caught the chance, why not collect them all too? Never mind whether they're useful. Collecting them means fuller reserves, means a sense of security. If they really come in handy down the line, I'll have to thank my foresight in this moment. No sooner said than done. I aimed straight at the watch shop's counters and released the storage ability at full power, collecting the counters along with those precise, expensive mechanical watches, all of them. Tissot, Longines, IWC, Casio, all the major brands, not one spared. The poor play with cars, the rich play with watches. A watch on a man's wrist is a symbol of status and standing, giving off an intangible charm. So I like watches too. Watching so many exquisite watches go into my pocket, a wave of satisfaction welled up. I thought to myself, this is just an ordinary mall, no high-end stock. Down the line, I'd probably have to make a special trip to SKP, Jinhua, or Wangfujing. The big Rolexes, Patek Philippe's, and Vacheron Constantine's, there are the top-tier goods. Carried by this sweet daydream, the watch shop was reaped too. The whole thing took 3 minutes, very efficient. So now, switch scenes, keep charging. The first floor is gold, jewelry, and watch shops all taken. I turned to look at those big brand cosmetics counters and luxury shops. One glance, and they were basically all designed for women. But this time I wasn't going to let them slip either. Last life I did extreme survival every day, running around just for a bit of warmth and food. Romance was impossible. This life is different. I have to live comfortably and warmly. After being well fed and warm, people always have some other needs. That's normal. Collect these too. So I got to work at once, aiming at several international brand cosmetics counters, collecting them all. Lancome, YSL, Watsons and such. I didn't know them well, but the packaging designs all looked exquisite, probably not cheap. Collecting them felt pretty fun too. Cosmetics handled, I turned and headed for the luxury shops. Prada, Chanel, Gucci, one and all, ransacked clean. Sweeping through, I'd taken the whole first floor. The once crowded array of counters was now nothing but empty space, an extreme contrast. Checked the time, under 15 minutes total. I just didn't rest, heading straight for the second floor. Another 10 minutes, and the second floor's clothing shops and shoe and hat stores were all cleared out too. At this phase completion, I felt the slight fatigue of overusing my ability, so I found a remote corner to sit, took out drinks and food from the space, and quickly started eating to replenish energy and speed up recovery. I rested about an hour, back to full state, then immediately threw myself back into the operation, unable to resist giving myself a thumbs up. In today's society, people as diligent and pragmatic as me really are rare. Speed up. Keep sweeping the third, fourth, and fifth floors. This round I didn't stop at all, finishing it all in one breath. After all, the third, fourth, and fifth floors had few strategic supplies, so I just skipped a lot of shops. The reaping of the mall was completely over. It took exactly 2 hours total, astonishing efficiency. Retreat first, then go collect those small convenience stores, hardware shops, and home goods stores I cased nearby. Briskly leaving the mall, I first found a spot to rest for an hour and recover my energy, then turned invisible again and threw myself into reaping the small shops. This trip, I put to use the pinpoint spatial demolition I'd tested out at the gold shop. Faced with locked shop doors, I just forcibly collected the locks, breaking in silently. So even without keys, it was now like entering an unguarded land. No obstruction at all, efficiency up another notch. Another 2.5 hours of hard labor, and the various small shops around the mall were all taken too. Hardware and tools, home appliances, snacks and dry rations, tobacco, liquor, and tea, countless and worth a fortune. Having finished this last piece, tonight's mission came to a perfect close. I lifted my wrist to check my watch, 5 in the morning again. I couldn't help but laugh. Same as I said, 5 in the morning in Binhai City is guarded by me, Su Ming. Being a diligent little bee really is exhausting. Hurry back to base and get some good rest. I kept invisible, returned to the hidden parking spot, and just before daybreak, using the last sliver of night, made it back to the suburban base. Back at the base, I collapsed straight into sleep. Couldn't help it. A whole night of labor was truly exhausting, and frequent use of my abilities drained the body and mental energy too much. So much so that I often couldn't help wishing. If only my body were like Superman's, able to stay invisible forever and collect any supplies without limit. Carrying this wish, I slept deeply. When I woke again, it was already noon. Ugh. I shook my head and got up, forcing myself alert, and grabbed my phone first thing to check the news. The mall getting emptied out should have made the headlines, right? Sure enough, just as expected, today's front page headline in Binhai City was the high-tech district mall theft. Inconceivable. 5-story mall emptied overnight. Who exactly did it? Cameras sabotaged. No record at all. How exactly was it done? Authorities say no suspect leads grasped so far. Investigation hard to launch. Skimming a few, I set down my phone with a smile. Investigate, investigate. Yours truly switches spots every day anyway. Out of Binhai City's population of over 10 million, if you can find an invisible man like me, that'd be a real miracle. Having confirmed the public mood and confirmed I was still safe enough, I returned to the real business of apocalypse prep, did a quick wash-up, and started ordering food all around. Hello, Sichuan restaurant. I'd like to order 500 tables of banquet food, Deliver to XXXX. Hello, Golden Arches. Order 1,000 set meals. Deliver to. Hello, hello, hello. Western fried chicken and steak. Eastern banquets and set meals. I let none slip. Anything I thought was tasty and wanted to eat, I ordered first and figured out the rest later. Once the glacial apocalypse hit anyway, the whole world would lie flat, the rat race gone entirely, and I'd have all the time to research this eating business, changing it up daily, blending east and west, so the nutrition is rich and the flavors don't get old. Ordering took over an hour, and the rest was just waiting for the deliveries to arrive in batches. So the whole afternoon, I was busy at the base receiving the logistics trucks. Not until dusk did the deliveries gradually stop, and I could finally catch my breath. Right now I was sprawled on the sofa, eyes vacant, not even wanting to speak. All trivial chores, no brainpower needed, but they drain your body and grind your patience, truly annoying. If only my body were stronger and my energy endless. These past few days, apocalypse prep had been advancing like mad, and I craved a strong, vigorous body more and more. Pity, remaking one's physique isn't something achieved overnight, so I'd just have to train slowly. Sprawled out and rested a while, I wasn't so tired anymore. I got up to keep going. Eat first, then go out to case and set tonight's targets. Then late at night, be a diligent little bee as usual and work hard to borrow supplies. My body was still a bit worn, but thinking of the terror and cruelty of the glacial apocalypse, thinking of the torment and despair of my past life, I'd rather work harder and prep more now. Like the college entrance exam. As long as you push through the final 100-day sprint, you can relax and welcome the great liberation. Time flew by, and a full week passed. That week my life was extremely regular. Starting at midnight, shuttling through Binhai City's various districts and malls, transforming into a diligent little bee, madly collecting supplies until around 5 in the morning before returning to base to sleep. Midday and afternoon I stayed at the base ordering online, ready-to-eat feasts, custom canned goods, special survival tools, anything I couldn't get by borrowing. I filled in through regular purchases and custom orders. Just one principle. What should be had must be had, or my sense of security would be seriously lacking. Once afternoon passed, at dusk I'd go out again to case, prepping for the late-night operation. This way, all 24 hours of the day were packed full, fulfilling, exhausting, even a bit monotonous. Until this day, a week later, when a prompt from the system finally brought me new excitement. Ding! Weekly wish list has refreshed. Please write down your wish request, host, and click Random Fulfillment to start the draw. Ding! Weekly wish list has refreshed. Please check promptly, host. Waves of electronic prompt tones rang in my head, gently rousing me from the catch-up sleep after a night of hard labor. Who is it? Muttering in my ear this whole time. My good dream disturbed. I frowned, opened my eyes, and cursed. But the next instant I suddenly froze, jerking upright. It's the system? I hurried to check the prompt. In no time I figured it out. Oh, no wonder it went silent the past few days like it vanished. It was waiting for the main function to cool down. But this weekly wish list, what exactly is it? After some study, I roughly grasped its rules. 1. I can write down my needs on the wish list. Supplies, abilities, weapons, and equipment, intel. As long as I can think of it and write it out, I can write it. 2. The wish list isn't omnipotent. It generates a specific reward at random based on my current overall strength. Put it this way, I'm just an ordinary person now. Directly wishing for absurd things like make the world explode or let me rule the whole universe definitely won't come true. But if I really forced such a wish, the system wouldn't stop me. It'd just give a low-grade, idiotic fulfillment. Like playing a sci-fi film of the world exploding with me as the lead, or writing a novel starring me who ultimately rules the universe. Having figured out these 2 points, I had a methodology in mind. In other words, wishing for something urgently needed right now, helpful in the short to medium term, and that the system can most likely fulfill directly, is the most sensible. Phew. Taking a deep breath, I prepared to operate. Combining my current main pursuit, apocalypse prep freak, with my current most urgent need, greatly boosting my physique, I naturally formed a wish. Have the system turn me into Superman. Seems good? Then write it like this. Provide me a fast, easy way to greatly boost my physique, guaranteed harmless, no side effects, and sustainable. Holding to a science student's rigor, I wrote this wish in great detail, checking it 3 times over to confirm no errors, before clicking Random Generation to submit. Ding! Your wish has been submitted, generating, please wait. The rest was just waiting. Full of anticipation, I watched the generation process closely, like waiting for a lottery draw. About 5 minutes later, the tense, thrilling draw ended, and another prompt rang out. Ding! Congratulations, host. Wish fulfilled. Obtained 1 bottle of gene optimization fluid. Ding! Weekly wish list cooldown refresh. 6 days, 23 hours, 59 minutes, 59 seconds. I immediately used intent to take out the reward, the gene optimization fluid, and quickly read the description. A moment later, I said happily, "Good stuff. Drink it, and it remakes my body, giving me humanity's top tier, most all-around physique. Not bad, not bad. Sounds real not bad. Try it quick." I stripped naked right away, went into the bathroom and drew the water, then downed the gene optimization fluid in one gulp. As for why I stripped and drew water, read too many novels, I guess. Thinking of the marrow cleansing and bone forging in fantasy tales. Heard you end up with a layer of black grime on your body. So let me draw the water first, and just wait to bathe. The fluid down my throat, its potent effect quickly kicked in. My whole body felt a wave of scorching heat, as if a surging power were rampaging inside me. This energy was extremely strong, coursing through every limb and bone, and everywhere it went was a grand remaking. Bones, blood, cells, skin, all renewed, all strengthened, reaching perfection. This remaking lasted nearly 2 full hours before ending, and a layer of sweat and black grime did seep out over my body. Returning to normal, I narrowed my eyes and carefully felt this brand new body, describable in just one word. Invincible. Power all over, every muscle under my command at will. Clenching my fist and throwing a punch at the air, I felt my punching power was definitely fiercer than the world boxing champs. And reflected in the mirror right now was a super handsome hunk. Handsome features, resolute sword brows, bright starry eyes. Smooth muscle lines all over, like they'd been sculpted. Adonis lines, a lean waist, broad shoulders and long limbs, a solid top-tier, male model build. My face full of smugness, I praised it again and again. Satisfied, satisfied, so satisfied. System products must be quality goods, really no cutting corners. Praise done, I hurried into the bathtub and washed all the filth and dead skin off my body. After bathing, my body back to fresh and comfortable, I didn't rest. I went straight into a joint test of physique and abilities. The usage limits of invisibility and the storage space both tie to my physique. So after taking the gene optimization fluid, the time they can sustain should be extended too, right? Carrying this anticipation, I started testing. The results were delightful. In the end, I measured that, at a rhythm of combined invisibility, storage, and maintaining high-intensity supply collection, my current physique could hold for over an hour, more than triple the previous limit of just over 20 minutes. And even after a full hour, I didn't feel too tired, no nausea, clearly not yet at the true limit. Enough. I made an estimate. At this stamina, hauling for another whole night, my haul could reach 3 or 4 times what I got daily before. Thinking of stockpiling more supplies and being safer in the apocalypse, I couldn't help but smile. Over the next week, I kept my original rhythm, collecting supplies and ordering feasts daily, extremely efficient. A rough tally, and the supplies I'd stockpiled were now worth 10 billion, an astonishing scale. Just to supply me alone, it was more than enough to sustain 100+ years of comfortable living. However, 2 straight weeks of crazy supply borrowing had blown up the Binhai City headlines every single day. Public opinion was in an uproar, hearts were uneasy, and everyone was a little afraid of me, the mysterious master thief. To catch me, the authorities deployed massive manpower and launched a serious investigation. Among the public, merchants' vigilance shot up quite a bit too. Come nightfall, they didn't dare sleep, keeping watch in rotating shifts, terrified of me paying a visit and borrowing their whole stock empty. These resistances did add some hassle for me, and efficiency dropped somewhat. But the overall impact was minor. What needs borrowing still gets borrowed. Borrow the big malls when it's big malls. Borrow the pharmacies when it's pharmacies. Fire a shot and move on. Binhu District today, high-tech district tomorrow, the old town the day after. I just dare you to guard against it, to catch me. In short, no target I set my eyes on could escape. After all, I'm a cheat. Prolonged invisibility plus unlimited storage and remote collection. Who can stop that? This pre-dawn, another night of labor wrapped up. Back at the base, I bathed and rested, but didn't sleep right away. Instead, I lay half reclined, scrolling my phone for news and placing orders while waiting for the system wish list to refresh. That's right, another week had passed, and the wish list would refresh in just a few more hours. I couldn't wait to use it immediately and gain another notch of strength. A few hours weren't hard to bear. Phone connected to the net, scrolling short videos, reading novels, and I passed the time easily. Soon, the refresh time arrived. Ding. Weekly wish list has refreshed. Please check promptly, host. The second counting prompt rang out, and I spoke up in delight. Quick, open it up for me. Ding. The wish list was laid out before me, and that special cool pen was ready too. I murmured my calculations. Last week my most urgent need was fast physique boosting, and the system fulfilled it perfectly. This week, I want another ability. Actually, I'd long had a draft for this week's wish, another ability. Best if it's the combat kind, playing with fire or lightning, cool and strong. That way, when the apocalypse comes, I won't fear ambushes from those scum who've lost their humanity. Guarding the supplies I painstakingly stockpiled matters a lot. Same as I said, the most important thing in the apocalypse is a sense of security. So even though my physique now rivals a mini Superman's, and I'm invincible in hand-to-hand and armed combat, I wasn't satisfied. I wanted to add some supernatural means too. That way, facing firearms, large-scale gang beatings, and ambushes down the line, I wouldn't have to flinch. After all, compared to the glacial apocalypse's extreme cold, the countrymen who lost their humanity in that extreme environment were even more terrifying, an even greater threat. Guarding against them was very necessary. Following this line of thought, I wrote down my wish, hoping to gain a new combat type ability. I clicked Random Generation to launch it. In no time, the wish was complete, and the result was given. Ding! Congratulations, host. Wish successful. Per your wish, a reward matching your personal strength has been randomly generated. On top of the storage ability, a brand new spatial ability is added. Spatial Imprisonment. Basic. Spatial Imprisonment? Hearing the prompt, I was both startled and delighted, rushing to chime in. I know. It's the kind that pins people in place, right? No. Seems like I crossed wires. That's a different setting. Forget it. No wild guessing. Better read the system's proper description. Soon, after serious study, I grasped this new ability's usage. So-called spatial imprisonment lets me lock down a patch of space, forcing all motion within it to stop. Effective on inanimate things, and on living things, cats, dogs, humans, equally effective. Just what I wished for, a combat-type ability. Having gotten the new power, I was very happy, and immediately decided to try it out and feel out its bounds. 1. To satisfy curiosity and fun. 2. To grasp the ability's limits, convenient for future combat. Lacking a living target, I used various supplies as test subjects. I first took out a bottle of mineral water, tossed it high into the air, and activated the ability quickly at the same time. Spatial imprisonment. Ding. Instant results. The bottle of water that had flown up stopped dead in midair, not budging an inch, as if completely unaffected by gravity. I leaned in for a close look. Whoa, even the water droplets inside kept their inertial pose, really magical. I was very satisfied with the initial test effect. Then, brimming with interest, I swapped in some other objects and usages for a few more rounds, finally reaching 2 conclusions. First, spatial imprisonment's current max capacity is 1 ton. Objects or impact forces over a ton I can't lock down for now. And within this range, the sustainable time varies too. For instance, forcibly holding a 1-ton object, I can lock it for 10 seconds at most, and past that I get dizzy and nauseous. This feels similar to using my abilities before, probably still because my physique and mental strength aren't strong enough. Once I train these 2 up, the various limits will loosen on their own. Second, the release range. Testing it out, my max casting range was exactly 5 meters. Not a centimeter more, not a centimeter less. Cast freely within 5 meters, instantly ineffective beyond 5 meters. This nonlinear, abrupt limit puzzled me a bit. Could it be? The range isn't limited by my physique, but something else is hard controlling it? System, come explain. Mulling it over for a long while without figuring out the why, I could only ask the ability manufacturer again. The system answered. Because the host's current personal strength is insufficient, the randomly generated spatial imprisonment is a basic version, actually belonging to an add-on of the storage ability. Hence, the current casting range is limited to 5 meters and can be upgraded later through wishing or other means. Hearing this, I frowned and asked a few more details before I fully understood. All right, I get it. So it's that my wish this time was too big. It couldn't reach a brand new combat ability at all originally, and the system worked its butt off to squeeze this one out from the foundation of storage. Having grasped the principle, I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Come to think of it, I actually came out ahead. Landing right at the wishing ceiling actually got me a combat ability. Get any greedier and go over the ceiling, and it'd probably turn into a garbage reward. So next time I'll ease off and ask for something else. This wish held hidden peril, but luckily the result was good, and I was still happy. I lifted my wrist to check the time, Afternoon again. And I hadn't eaten yet. My stomach was ravenous. I decided to rest half the day today and head out to case things early. Along the way, I'd use the extra time to have a big feast, celebrating my newly acquired ability. But just as I changed clothes and picked up my phone for a look, I froze slightly. Huh? Why'd Yin Hao call me a dozen plus times? He's got something urgent. An anomaly, incoming. Looking at the dozen plus missed calls on the screen, a feeling immediately rose in my heart. Something abnormal had happened, and it involved me. Otherwise, Yin Hao wouldn't be so anxious as to call in a chain. Among these college classmates, I didn't have any real close buddies, friends at most. Amiable when we met, no awkwardness eating and chatting together. That was about the best of it. Checking in on each other over WeChat was common enough. But calling this many times in a row showed Yin Hao was truly anxious, with something he absolutely had to notify me about. Fine, call back and ask what's up. I'd long stopped caring about schoolwork, but I didn't dislike Yin Hao. If he had something, I could hear him out. Just as I was about to call back, the phone rang again, still him. I frowned slightly and picked up. Hey, Riqian, what's up? You keep calling. Io, Mingji, you finally picked up. Let me tell you, big trouble. Yin Hao was always hasty in how he acted, but his urgency right now was abnormally over the top. Looked like a truly serious problem? My expression calm, I pressed. Don't rush. Tell me what it is. I'm listening. The counselor's looking for you. Says you've skipped class 2 weeks straight, not even on campus, and it's blowing up. Says he's got to drag you back for a stern reprimand and a public disciplinary action. Aya, don't we know what kind of guy Lu Dadu is? Loves bullying the honest students. And this time he's definitely going to nail you to death. Having said it all in one breath, Yin Hao lamented over and over, looking all worried on my behalf. Done for, done for. You're totally done for now. Mingji, you're probably going to get expelled. Hearing this, I actually felt reassured, disdainful inside. TCH, just this little thing? Come on, look at what I am now. Someone who's walked through the apocalypse and seen the great terror of life and death. Would I still care about a trifling school punishment or expulsion? Besides, in 85 days it's the glacial apocalypse. School? School my ass. Ritian, relax. These are all small matters. I'm not even worried myself. What are you fretting about? I responded calmly. You just eat and drink as you please. And lastly, stay away from Li Shueqing. The other end froze on the spot, dazed, completely unable to comprehend. And Mingji, what exactly is going on? You're not hiding something from me, are you? And what's this got to do with Shueqing? She's a good girl. Why are you so prejudiced against her? Last night, I even helped their dorm carry water, and she thanked me. This time it was my turn to be speechless. I shook my head and cursed inside. This big simp, his brains totally shorted out. But I knew I couldn't dissuade him, and had no obligation to, so I didn't say these words out loud. Whatever became of Yin Hao's future, let him be. As for that Li Shueqing, come the apocalypse, you must die. After a round of thought, I again cut off his anxious persuasion. All right, Yin Hao, stop. I'll arrange my own affairs. I know what I'm doing. Thanks for the heads up and concern. As it happens, I've been out and about these days and bought a lot of the snacks and drinks you like. I'll courier you a few boxes later. Yin Hao grew even more baffled. No. What time is it and you're still on about snacks? Ugh, forget it, forget it. I really can't talk sense into you. Arrange it yourself. Knowing persuasion was useless, he could only shake his head and hang up, a belly full of worry. Hanging up, I came back to myself. Same as I said, at a time like this, going to school my ass, no time to go back. Let the black-hearted counselor punish and expel all he wants. Yours truly doesn't care. What can you do to me? Putting away my phone and about to head out, before I'd even left the base gate, another call came. This time it was that black-hearted counselor, Lu Datu. I glanced at it and smirked, curling my lip. Can't be bothered with him. Come the apocalypse, how many students' life-saving supplies did he embezzle? And he loved throwing his weight around and playing the official too. Brainless thing, don't come near me. I hung up directly and kept prepping to set out. But hanging up on him myself became the fuse instead, triggering the fat counselor's death chain calls. 3 more in a row, like a death summons, and he even started bombarding with video calls. I was truly exasperated and more repulsed inside. I might as well pick up and hear what this guy was about to say. Hello. Before I'd even finished the greeting, the other end blew up. Su Ming, are you dead? Still daring to hang up on me. Do you have any student decency? Do you know I'm your counselor? Get to my office within 30 minutes. If I don't see you, you get a disciplinary action straight away, announced across the whole school. Huff, huff, huff. Having cursed it all out in one breath, intermittent panting came from the other end. Just imagining it, I could picture that fat counselor trembling with rage, which should have been comical. But right now my face was grim, no time to laugh, and I fired right back. Lu Datu, a mere grade counselor, what kind of proper official are you? Don't think that just because your parents are petty leaders at Benhai you can do whatever you want. Not everyone buys your intimidation act. Getting your post through the back door, the sordid business of extorting and bullying students. Believe I'll expose it all and report it to the relevant departments? I'll write your parents' connections into the report letter along with it. Then we'll see whether they get removed or not. Lastly, punish me or expel me all you like. Think yours truly cares? Get lost. Click. Hung up. Having cursed all that out, my heart felt considerably lighter. Heh, venting like this now and then feels pretty nice. Trash like this deserves cursing, and I want to hit him when I see him too. Getting angry over these garbage people and boring matters is pure inner drain, wasting time and energy. Settling down a bit, I put it out of mind and kept prepping to set out. But this wasn't over. Lu Data's call came again. TSK, want another cursing, do you? I'll oblige. I picked up, ready to spit. Lu Data, you. Stop. No cursing, okay. Let's talk nice. I'm looking for you over something serious, really. I frowned, held my tongue for the moment, and smirked back. Yeah, you can have something serious? Lu Data's tone was awkward. Ahem, serious business. You really have to come back to school today, or else I'll have to call the police to find you. Huh, police? Hearing that word, my gaze sharpened, and I got serious inside. Given my current abnormal state, I really couldn't actively draw official attention. Otherwise, they'd follow the trail, check my movements these past few days, and easily connect me to that transspatial thief. That would be trouble. No good. I had to avoid the official's gaze. The call I'd meant to hang up, I now kept going, taking the initiative to ask back. All right, quit dawdling, out with it. What's the situation now? How do we handle this? The other end hemmed and hawed a moment. Anyway, come back to school first. This matter's pretty troublesome. Come to my office and we'll talk face to face. Let me state up front, I'm helping you here. If it really blows up, whoever talks to you next will be the officials. I fell silent for a moment, sucking my teeth. Tisk, fine, wait for me. Lu Data breathed a sigh of relief. Phew. Okay. Just come back at your own pace. No rush. Be safe on the road. Beep. The call hung up. I started the car, ready to make a trip back to school. Not to give this trash Lu Data face, but because there really was no need to actively draw official attention now. Something that could be settled by dealing with Lu Datu and the school wasn't worth blowing up. If it ended up affecting my subsequent apocalypse prep, that'd be losing more than I gained. Driving along, I chuckled softly. As it happens, I'll rest a bit tonight too. Let those transspatial thief headlines in Benhai City pause and cool down a little, and toss a smokescreen at the official investigators too. This trip was necessary, but no need to rush. Let Lu Data stew a while first. Go back too eagerly, and he'd think I was scared of him, that I needed something from him. I leisurely detoured to the city center first, found a high-end barbecue place for a big feast, then wandered the arcade, played some game machines, and did some claw machine grabbing. Having played to my heart's content and seeing it was getting late, I sauntered out and got back in the car, heading for Benhai University. Meanwhile, in Benhai University, in Lu Data's office, a certain fat counselor had already gone frantic. Why isn't he here yet? That damn punk Su Ming. I'm his counselor after all, and he dares leave me hanging like this. Having cursed and sat down, calming down, he actually started feeling uneasy inside. But that tone on the phone was way too arrogant. Could he really not care about a punishment? Not fear expulsion? Impossible. What student doesn't buy this? And he even said he'd report my parents. Would he really dare? The more he savored Su Ming's give-up-style hardline retort, the shorter Lu Data's breath got, a layer of sweat seeping from his fat forehead. No good. I've got to teach him a lesson. A useless piece of garbage like Lu Datu was always a bully of the weak type, tough on the outside and hollow within, reading the room to pick his targets. Fierce blows against honest students, oppressing and taking advantage in every trick, but timid and shrinking when facing a thorn. Yet right now he was dumbfounded, unable to figure it out no matter what. The quiet, honest good student Su Ming from before, how was his temper so explosive today? Ugh, forget these thoughts for now, gotta think of a way fast. Don't really let him go reporting our family. Racking his brains a while, he decided to use force first, and he needed a helper too. He picked up the phone right away. Hey, Wang Chi, cut the crap. Get to my office fast. Bring your knuckle gloves and brass knuckles. Come alone. Don't tell anyone. Hurry, or I'll cut your scholarship. Hanging up, Lu Data slowly sat down, his fat face contorting into a sinister grin. Oomph. I don't believe it. Su Ming, you alone can still handle the two of us. Before long, a cautious knock came from outside the door. Counselor Liu, I'm here. Get your ass in here already, Liu Data barked. Wang Qi slipped into the room, bowing and scraping repeatedly, squeezing out a fawning face. Don't be mad, Counselor Liu. I'm here. Brought everything. Brass knuckles, knuckle gloves, and this steel pipe. Liu Data snatched the brass knuckles and slipped them on for a test, laughing. Nice. Wang Qi was curious. Counselor Liu, what's the deal today? Who are we dealing with? Why are we really throwing hands? This Wang Qi was Liu Data's #1 lackey, usually helping skim student aid and extort classmates, having done plenty of underhanded, vicious things. But his main game was running his mouth and threatening with leverage. He never took the field to beat people himself. His build was flimsy too, a pure scrawny dog. Putting him actually in the fight, he had no confidence. What are you scared of? 2-on-1, and you still can't take him. Liu Data flicked the brass knuckles. Besides, we've got weapons. Who are we dealing with? Su Ming. Su Ming? That name's the same as a classmate in my class. It's that one in your class, the tall, handsome, quiet one. Wang Qi froze, unable to reconcile it no matter how he thought. Wasn't that just a quiet, good grades, never causes trouble honest guy? He asked for the whole story, and the more he heard the more the thing reeked of strange. But with Counselor Liu's order, he could only grit his teeth and agree. When he comes, I'll hide behind him and block the door. You go at him from the front, and we'll pincer him front and back to control him first. Liu Data lowered his voice. I turned off the cameras long ago. All right, I'll do as you say. Wang Qi agreed with his mouth, but his heart was pounding. The two finished plotting and sat down to wait. Just as they were talking, the office door was pushed once, but didn't open since it was locked. Liu Data stood up, looking a bit flustered. Who's there? A contemptuous greeting came from outside the door. Your daddy. Liu Data, open the door. It was Su Ming. Liu Data's pig face twitched, and recalling that arrogance on the phone, he swallowed and gestured to Wang Qi. Hide, get ready. He shuffled over to open the door, piling on an amiable face. Su Ming, why so long? Come in, your matter's pretty troublesome. Let's have a good talk. Once Su Ming walked into the room, Liu Data immediately circled behind him, slamming the door shut with a bang and clicking the lock. Wang Qi, come out, let's do him together. He changed face on the spot. Su Ming, right? Don't think about leaving today. Cameras are off. Wait to get beat. Wang Qi, in ambush position, sprang out, brandishing the steel pipe for courage. Su Ming, don't move. You cursed your counselor, so ill-bred. Today you're getting taught a lesson. The three stood set in the office, Su Ming in the middle, one blocking the door, one drawing aggro from the front, pincered front and back. Looking at these two old acquaintances, memories surged in Su Ming's head. On the day of the glacial apocalypse, among the people who barred him outside the door and let him freeze, go deaf, and suffer frostbite, was this sinister piece of work Wang Qi. Hatred flared up instantly. You mutt, get over here. Before the words fell, Su Ming stepped forward and backhandedly seized Wang Qi's throat, hoisting him clean off the ground with one arm. His net height was 1.85 meters, plenty of muscle mass, the type that looks lean-clothed and cut when stripped. Wang Qi, by contrast, was flimsy-framed, hollowed out by drink and lust, weak as anything. Su Ming lifted him one-handed, effortless as hoisting a bag of trash. Wang Qi, feet off the ground, face flushed red from the choke, clawed at Su Ming's wrist with both hands, only able to whimper for mercy. Su Ming, misunderstanding, it's all a misunderstanding, put me down quick. Su Ming had no mind to listen. His arm sank, slamming him hard to the ground, the steel pipe clanging away. Wang Qi curled into a ball, unable to speak from the pain, a sight both comical and pathetic. But there wasn't a shred of pity in Su Ming's eyes. Just recalling how that man in his past life watched him freeze to death and even laughed wildly in celebration. The hatred couldn't be suppressed. He bent down, one hand pressing Wang Qi firmly down, his voice cold as ice. You know full well what state I ended up in back then. Today's account, let me collect a little interest first. Wang Qi lay collapsed on the ground, shaking like a sieve, not daring to make another sound. Liu Data's voice trembled from behind. Su Ming, let Wang Qi go quick. This is a crime. I've called the police. Oh, it was the scared witless Liu Data. I didn't let go, coldly turning my head. Call it, go ahead and call. But I guarantee, the moment you dial, I'll greet this fat head of yours first. And, you said it yourself, the cameras have been off. Think a little harder. Do I dare make a move? Will I leave a scene? Calling the police useful? From my gaze, Lu Dada saw that unhesitating something. He believed it. This guy really dared to go brutal. Just this one look, a few flat words, and he lost his nerve on the spot, no longer daring to act tough, trembling over and over. Su Ming, there's no need for this. Wang Qi had a grudge with you before, that's on him. But you've got to think about your own future. Really cause a death and the officials will surely investigate. With a record, how will you graduate and work? Listen to Counselor Lu's advice. Everyone calm down, I won't call the police, and you stop hitting, all right? What are you to have the right to teach me how to act? I let go and backhandedly pressed Wang Qi's head to the ground, a muffled thud. His vision went dark and his head lolled as he passed out. One threat cleared. I slowly got up and turned to face Lu Datu. All right, now it's our turn to settle accounts. That attitude earlier seemed like you wanted to teach me a lesson? Wanted to kill me? Taking another look at my terrifying smile, actually a very amiable smile, Lu Datu lost his nerve outright, waving his hands over and over. No, absolutely not. I wouldn't dare. Before he finished, he glimpsed the brass knuckles on his own hand and froze in place. Oh ho, even put the brass knuckles on. I walked over with a smile. Looks like Counselor Lu really did want to beat me to death. Come, here's your chance, try hitting me. Lu Datu instinctively backed away, gulping. Don't dare? I really didn't mean to hit you. Don't want to, or don't dare? Don't dare. Oh no, don't wanna. No, I. His composure cracked. He dropped the brass knuckles and turned to run, wailing as he ran. Mom, Dad, come save me quick. Lele's about to get beaten. Pity he was just too fat to run. I stepped up in one stride and grabbed him by the collar. Get back here. I yanked the 300-pounder down to the ground and stomped a foot on his chest. His whole body of fat trembled. Shut your mouth and behave. Make more noise, and I'll stomp your head in. The howling cut off abruptly, the office instantly quiet. I picked up the brass knuckles off the ground and weighed them, didn't put them on, and tossed them aside. This thing do a number on a body. Ration it. I won't use it today, and you should count your blessings. Lu Dada covered his mouth, scared half to madness. I settled down a bit, and, foot on him, got to business. Talk, how'd you and Wang Qi team up? Were you planning to deal with me tonight? Answer honestly. Why yes. Yes. Lu Dada didn't dare dawdle. Wang Qi's my subordinate. We've partnered a few times before, so I called him to help. Help out. To help you beat me together. That's what you mean, right? I finished the sentence for him. Misunderstanding, misunderstanding. Misunderstanding my ass. I raised my hand and slapped him left and right, leaving 2 red marks on his fat face, then flicked my hand with distaste. Hurry up and lose weight. Slapping you got my whole hand greasy. Having vented some anger, my expression eased, and I went on. Skip Wang Qi, talk about before. Other students leave campus for 2 weeks, and you turn a blind eye and let it slide. So why the nitpicking when it comes to me? And how did you even know I wasn't on campus? With your attitude, would you normally care whether a student's around? Every word was true, and Lu Data couldn't refute it, could only confess honestly. Ming Ji's right. Skipping class and leaving campus normally isn't a big deal. But this time you were different. Someone reported you to the higher-ups. I was acting on the school leadership's instructions, had to investigate and punish strictly. At the end, he looked all regretful. Ugh, had I known you were this capable, I'd never have taken this lousy job. Reported by someone. I frowned. Who's that bored? I turned to look at Wang Qi, knocked out on the ground. Was it him? Not Wang Qi, really not him this time. Lu Datu, lying on the ground, corrected proactively. It's that thorn in your dorm, Chung Peng. His dad's a big Binhai City property developer, hard background and connections. Once he reported it, the school higher-ups were bound to take it seriously, which is why it got pushed onto me, forcing me to deal with you seriously. I fell silent a moment, then nodded indifferently. I get it. At this point it all connected. 2 weeks ago, the very day I was reborn, I'd had a scuffle with Chung Peng in the dorm, and this jerk had held a grudge ever since. But since I'd been out stockpiling these 2 weeks, he couldn't find me. So he took the official route through the school leadership and Lu Datu, trying to force me back. So right now, he must be preparing to make his move on me. I stroked my chin and calculated, then made up my mind a moment later. Fine, then I'll deal with him too along the way. Save him from endlessly dragging in the officials and delaying my real business. Lowering my head to look at Lu Datu again, I spoke. Today's matter, how do you plan to handle it? I beat you in Wang Qi. You won't be sore about it, and look for a chance to retaliate later, will you? Or plan to report to the school leadership and get the officials to catch me? Lu Data's eyes darted away. No, absolutely not. Rest assured, tonight's matter stays between you, me, and Wang Qi. I won't tell a soul, definitely won't draw official attention. Oh right, you're leaving campus. I'll help you think of a way to reduce the impact too. Got it. You happen to have this semester's last exam tomorrow. Find time to go show your face. On my end, I'll report to the higher-ups that Changpeng's report was mistaken, that you've been studying on campus the whole 2 weeks. That way the impact drops to the minimum. I didn't want to get entangled with the officials. I had to prep for the apocalypse wholeheartedly, and dealing with them now was pure wasted energy. And Lu Datu right now didn't want to draw the officials in at all either. 1. He was genuinely scared of my willingness to go brutal. 2. 2-on-1 and getting suppressed instead. If this ugly business got out, where would he, a counselor, put his face? The two sides hit it off instantly. Lu Data even wholeheartedly worked out a way to save face for Su Ming. Student Su Ming, you go sit in the exam hall tomorrow and show your face, and this report thing turns the page. After that it's summer break right away, and you can go play wherever you like, the school won't care. Isn't this plan perfect? I raised an eyebrow indifferently. Yeah, teaching me how to act again. You think I'm actually scared of the officials, actually scared of a few school leaders? Boring. I tossed out a smokescreen, cementing the madman persona, and only after he got anxious himself did I switch my tone and spread my hands. Forget it. I did put in 3 years after all. A diploma beats none. Relax, I'll go to the exam tomorrow. But don't you sit idle either. File the reports that need filing, seal the mouths that need sealing. I jerked my chin at Wang Qi, knocked out on the ground. Seeing me relent, Lu Datu was moved to tears of gratitude, nodding over and over. Understood, understood. Student Su Ming, you're so understanding, such a great guy. I flicked my hand, turned, and left, not bothering to waste more breath on this dead pig. Out of the office, I hurried toward dorm building 15. The one I was anxious to see now was one person, Chung Peng. Last time, just reborn, I was busy prepping for battle and only kicked you once without time to deal with you properly. And you go and rack your brain to fire a cold shot behind my back, tricking me back to school. This time, I've got to hit you hard, teach you a lesson to remember. Pushing open the door to what was once dorm 532, I looked toward Chung Peng's bunk. He wasn't there. The bedding was a mess, like no one had slept in it for days. He's not here. I frowned. Went to all that trouble to trick me back and hid himself? Hey, Mingji, you're back. Lu Data didn't give you a hard time. It was Yin Hao. As the dorm's ultimate slacker, he was basically on standby 24 hours. Seeing me whole and unharmed, he was startled and suspicious. Given Lu Data's character, how could this have gone so smoothly? I squeezed out a faint smile. It's fine. Finished talking with him. Easy to solve. All right. Yin Hao, did Chung Peng come back to the dorm these past few days? Any special movements? Yin Hao rolled his eyes in thought and shook his head blankly. Didn't come back. No movements either. He never talks to us. I nodded. All right, got it. With that I turned and left again. Mingji, where you off to? Need help? No need. Going to the washroom to make a call. You rest. Yin Hao muttered and lay back down to boot up his computer. Perfect. Haven't run the Genshin event yet. Xueqing's birthday is next week. Gotta grind for gold, or I won't have money to buy her a bag. In the washroom, I dialed Chung Peng's number, several calls in a row, all going unanswered. I rolled my eyes. This useless second-gen rich kid, off doing who knows what late at night, not even eager for revenge. Forget it, tomorrow then. This jerk would most likely come to me himself anyway, and I'd deal with it all then. Putting away my phone, I went back to the dorm. It was late, and tomorrow's exam did need me to show my face and keep up appearances to avoid drawing official attention, so I'd make do for the night. Coming in, I saw Yin Hao half sprawled on his bed gaming, mouse and keyboard clicking nonstop. How someone chose to live was his freedom, so I didn't say much. But recalling something, I still spoke up. Yin Hao, all the big malls are running snack promos lately. Why not stock up while you can? A few months worth. Eat your fill in one go. Mingji, I do love snacks, but no need to stock a few months at once, right? Besides, where would I get that spare cash? Your living allowance is 5,000 a month. Where'd it all go? Not even enough to stock some snacks. Anyway, it just gets spent. Gotcha pulls burn money. My expression sank. You didn't go sending Li Xueqing random gifts again, did you? Yin Hao tapped his keyboard aimlessly, and only after a while did he stubbornly retort. How's that random? They're all things Xueqing likes. She was so happy when I bought them for her. I pressed my forehead and heaved a long sigh. This big simp, beyond saving. I shook my head and said no more, thinking only. In my past life's apocalypse, I parted ways with Yin Hao pretty quick, and I don't even know how long he lasted afterward. This life, I'll give him a few reminders at most, and mail him more supplies as the apocalypse nears. This guy does show me a bit of concern, and isn't unlikable as a person, So as long as it doesn't affect my stockpiling plan, I'll lend a hand where I can. That night back in the dorm, I didn't sleep well. The past 2 weeks I'd worked late nights and caught up on sleep by day. A sudden schedule shift like that couldn't smooth out easily, and I barely closed my eyes all night, only dozing off for a bit past 5. Exam time. I hurriedly got up, washed, and rushed to the exam hall. Luckily, just barely on time. The moment I stepped into the classroom, my eyes started scanning. A room full of faces, familiar yet strange. Familiar for being classmates 3 years, strange because my head now held 3 extra years of lone wolf apocalypse survival memories, and most of these people had been clean forgotten. Only a few I still remembered, like Wang Qi, likely Xueqing, Gao Yue, Cheng Peng. Those who'd made enemies of me in my past life and obstructed my survival, I would never forget. First to look for was Cheng Peng, this jerk who'd been stirring up trouble lately. But a sweep around and no sign of him. Don't you dare not show today, or yours truly will have waited for nothing. Next, Wang Qi. He was easy to spot. Left hand bandaged, half his head wrapped in gauze. I'd nearly torn his ear off last night, and he'd actually come today enduring the pain. I chuckled softly, a pure clown. Then Li Xueqing and Gao Yue. Back in the apocalypse, these two ganged up with Wang Qi to turn on me. This grudge I remembered crystal clear. Li Xueqing was surrounded by a few guys laughing and chatting, every gesture carrying a carefully cultivated affectation. Gao Yue was beside her, all harmless cute looks. But I knew what hid beneath that disguise. On the day of the apocalypse, she'd said something that still turns my stomach, watching eagerly for me to freeze to death and finding it too disgusting to lift a finger. Phew, calm down. Now's not the time to touch them. I pushed down the surging hatred, my expression returning to normal, and walked over to sit in my seat. Within 2 minutes, 3 proctors entered, and the exam started as usual. Watching the classmates pass out the papers, I actually felt a bit nostalgic. But I hadn't forgotten today's real business, dealing with Cheng Peng. Is this jerk coming or not? Just as I was thinking it, a commotion came from the classroom's back door. Late. The quieted exam hall was abruptly broken, the whole room turning to look. Cheng Peng came rushing in with hurried steps, face weary yet utterly nonchalant, grinning cheekily. Classmates frowned all around. This wayward rich kid was detestable, but with money and background, no one could do anything to him. For me, his appearance actually made me chuckle. Nice, finally stake you out. Save me from having to go find you again. A thought abruptly popped up. How about I just flip the exam hall and beat him right here? Satisfying for me, humiliating for him. Forget it, hold off for now. I pressed down the impulse. Best not make too big a scene now, avoid drawing in the officials. Wait till the exam's over, then pull him aside separately, not too late. Just as I was calculating, Cheng Peng also turned to look at me. In that gaze was ferocity and resentment, and oddly a trace of anticipation too, as if he too couldn't wait to see me in this setting. Could it be he'd come prepared today as well? Whatever your method, I'm not flustered. I bore an ability. A proper protagonist getting toppled by some useless rich kid? Everyone focus on the exam. Cheng Peng, find a seat and sit, don't hold people up. The teachers disliked his tardy, noisy manner, but having heard of his family background, they didn't want to add complications either, prioritizing getting him quietly into the exam. It was the semester's last one after all, just don't let anything go wrong. Cheng Peng sat back in his seat, but his eyes still fixed on me, still that gaze laced with resentment and anticipation. I scoffed and turned to narrow my eyes and feign sleep. I hadn't slept well last night, so I'd take advantage of the exam's quiet to catch up a little. All around was just the shush of writing and flipping papers, extremely sleep-inducing. But just then, bang bang bang. Whoever's Su Ming, get the hell out here. As the whole room bent focused, a clamor came from the classroom's front door, along with pounding on it and several angry shouts. Which one's Su Ming? Stand up. Get out here now. Cross us, and you're not leaving today. The comm exam hall was abruptly broken, the spearhead aimed straight at me. Everyone turned back to look at me, puzzled. What's going on? A whole gang of thugs all here for Su Ming? Big show to watch. Feigning sleep with my head tilted, I was woken up, a surge of getting up temper hitting me. Disturbing someone's sleep deserves the death penalty, you know that? I swept my narrowed eyes over. 8 people total. 5 yellow hairs, 2 red hairs, and most absurd of all, a green hair. Generally short, no muscle on them, yet all carrying weapons. Steel pipes, small knives, brass knuckles, gaudy stuff, comical with a hint of menace. Any ordinary student would have gone weak in the knees, but I just found it boring. Such a shame, this body of abilities and strength. Why am I sparring with these little punks every single day? I turned to look at Cheng Peng, undisguised contempt in my eyes. This is the revenge you prepared? Can you bring something tougher? Chung Pong was struck dumb by that one look. Then, humiliated and enraged, stood up and pointed from afar. That one against the wall. The tallest, he's Su Ming. With a target, that gang of colorful-haired thugs turned and cursed. So you're the punk who stole our big brother's woman? Tired of living? Huh. Get down here and kneel. The first words out were peak filthy trash talk. The whole class was tongue-tied listening, whispering and imagining a whole slew of romantic drama. My gaze sank, anger rising. A filthy mouth deserves a beating. I stood, not bothering to waste breath on this bunch, reached back and grabbed a bottle of mineral water from the next desk and hurled it, aiming straight at the lead green hair. Clang, a muffled thud. The green hair toppled straight backward, clutching his nose and howling, blood seeping through his fingers. His nose bridge had been smashed crooked. Wasn't he supposed to be a background less honest student? How come he goes so brutal? Seeing their boss lying on the ground wailing, the pack of lackeys fell into disarray, hurrying to help him up. I seized the moment to step out of my seat, closing in step by step, expression indifferent. Those yellow hairs inexplicably grew afraid. How is this guy's oppressive presence so strong? The remaining few red and yellow hairs forced themselves to raise weapons and rally for a counterattack. First to move was a short red hair, swinging his steel pipe at my head. This one was vicious enough that the whole room of teachers and students was scared stiff. Too brutal. Someone's gonna die? Call the police, quick. I was very calm, meeting the descending steel pipe with a front kick. Bam! The red hair flew backward whole. The pipe knocked loose, crashing to the ground dazed. The first one to attack was instantly downed, hugely intimidating, and the remaining yellow hairs all froze, not daring to advance. Fine then, my turn to attack. My expression turned cold. Rising elbow, whip kick, back kick, slap, chain punches, one after another delivered, and 5 yellow hairs fell one after the next, wailing. The last red hair, I landed a tornado kick to his head, and he flew sideways. Phew, done. I clapped my hands, dusting them off. 8 thugs, all downed, no more than 2 minutes start to finish. This scene completely exceeded everyone's expectations, the whole room stunned. No way. How's Su Ming this good at fighting? Like a Superman. I'm shaking all over watching. Wang Chi, who'd already gotten a taste last night, twisted his face, eyelids twitching. This bastard's actually this strong. How do I even get my revenge now? And Li Xueqing, Gao Yue, and the others watching the show couldn't help but let a few notches of amazement into their eyes. So this normally quiet guy had a hand like this. But the one truly plunged into an ice cellar was Chung Pong. Impossible. Xiao Ming and them are my fiercest hitters, the batch with the longest street experience. How does one student turn around and beat 7 or 8 armed guys? Ever since taking that beating in the dorm clash, Chung Pong had been biding his time for revenge, yet never worried about consequences. He was certain numbers would beat Su Ming to kneeling and begging for mercy. But now, Su Ming had smashed his fantasy to pieces with the most violent counterattack. Won't he turn around and deal with me next? Sure enough. Hey, still watching? Get down here and clean up after your little brothers. I pointed at him, then hoisted up that green hair again, sweeping the room. Everyone, get out here within 30 seconds. This isn't over. Chung Pong, you too. Want to embarrass yourself in front of the whole class? Try dawdling. With that, I dragged the green hair straight out of the exam hall. I didn't want to keep the aftermath blowing up in the hall and draw more attention. Chung Pong and that gang of thugs didn't dare disobey. He was too good at fighting and went brutal. Disobey and get beaten. What other choice was there? We came all the way to the back hill of Binhai University. It was remote, screened by trees, always a good spot for private brawls. Finding a quiet clearing, I stopped and turned back. Still standing, one by one. Want a beating? The 8 thugs exchanged glances, not daring to hesitate, kneeling one after another to beg forgiveness. Brother Su, it's all a misunderstanding. Ming Ji, the brothers were blind. Don't be angry. Begging now? Too late. I kicked over the green hair boss still standing there, and the rest didn't dare dawdle anymore. Having pressed down the clamor, I turned to look at the culprit, Chung Pong. Stiff back, can't kneel. Not waiting for his answer, I landed a front kick to his chest and belly, kicking him down to crash into the ground. He wanted to argue still. So much nonsense. I hit him with a throw and slammed him down. And this time he went completely quiet, kneeling obediently, trembling all over. I crossed my arms and paced. A few useless nobodies like you. And you wanted to come pick a fight with me? No to be scared now. The thugs hurried to admit their wrongs. I looked only at Chung Pong. And you, do you submit? Dare come after me again? Cheng Peng trembled, no longer daring to act tough. Don't dare, don't dare. I'll never dare give you trouble again. I raised an eyebrow and nodded, not caring whether his words were true. I'm warning you all. Today was a private grudge. Come pick a fight later, and I'll take you on no matter how many. But next time I'll go harder. Weigh it yourselves. Since it's a private grudge, don't bring in the officials. I don't like trouble, and if you find ways to bring me trouble, then don't blame me. I mean what I say. The gang of thugs nodded over and over, promising not to dare retaliate nor report to the authorities. Still not finding it secure enough, I turned to the green-hair boss. You, take your people, go slap Cheng Peng. The green-hair, Xiao Ming, froze, hesitating. Cheng Peng was their big brother. You don't hit him, I hit you. I flashed my palm. He panicked instantly. No, 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 Brother Su will hit him. Having personally tasted how brutal I went, he'd rather let his brother suffer. The gang swarmed up, a smack-crack flurry. Peng Ji, sorry, no choice. A few blows and they'd slapped Cheng Peng into a pig's head, both cheeks swollen too much to speak. I tapped off the recording on my phone and raised a hand. All right. Say you don't want it with your mouths. Go harder than me with your hands. The green hair grinned sheepishly. That's just fear that you'd be dissatisfied, Brother Su. I ignored him and turned to Cheng Peng. I've recorded this ugly look of yours. Behave when you get back. Dare come after me again, and this video goes out to the whole school, the whole of Binhai City. Saying so, I sent him a copy of the video. This move was, first, a warning, and second, a wedge. Every time he watched the video, he'd recall that the ones who beat him hardest were the good brothers he'd brought himself. The us versus them conflict was thus shifted into their own ranks. Sure enough, it worked. The thugs staggered to their feet to leave, and one who wanted to help Cheng Peng up got flung off and cursed instead. Bunch of traitors, get lost. Don't appear before me again. I kept the green hair, Li Xiaoming, back alone. I had something to ask, tied to my real business. Meeting my gaze, he dropped to his knees with a thud. Brother Su, I really didn't mean to give you trouble. It was all Cheng Peng's scheme. Shut up. I ask you answer. I said flatly. By the look of you, run the streets a bit? Know some people. Just tagging along with the big brothers watching turf and doing odd jobs. Someone like me, no education, no background. The real heavyweight big brothers in Binhai City. Tell me about them. His mind spun. Brother Wang of the Wild Wolf Gang. Brother Liu of the Fierce Tiger Gang. The strongest is still Gao Tianliang of the Sihai Chamber of Commerce. People call him Master Liang. Sihai Chamber of Commerce, Gao Tianliang. I noted it. Tell me more about this Gao Tianliang. He poured out all he knew. Though as just a small lackey, it was only some vague power distribution and street rumors. Having heard it, I stroked my chin and abruptly asked, ever seen a gun? Does this Gao Tianliang have any on hand? Li Xiaoming was startled stiff, but still answered. Yes, Master Liang's personal bodyguards all carry weapons. The gang brawls were fierce in the early years. Heard firearms even got used. Oh, my eyes lit up. Looked like the weapons angle had a lead. Keeping him behind for questioning, I was after weapons. In 85 days, once the glacial apocalypse arrived, the whole world would descend into chaos, the authorities would lose control, and people would be deadlier than the bitter cold. To withstand that layer of impact, besides daily supplies, I had to prep weapons, the more the better. Though I had the system's weekly wish, whatever I could solve through manpower first, I'd save the precious wish chances to trade for other cutting-edge supplies and abilities. All right, Li Xiaoming, tell me more about Gao Tianliang's range of activity and schedule. Don't leave out a single thing you know. He reported it all honestly. I fell silent and calculated a while. Fine, off you go. Don't go blabbing about today, or I can't guarantee the consequences. He scrambled off on all fours. Having dealt with Cheng Peng and gotten key intel from Li Xiaoming, I left the school and returned to my stockpiling plan. But from now on, I'd no longer fixate on the daily goods at malls. Over 10 billion was plenty to supply me alone. In the remaining 80-plus days, I wanted to go bulk, refined oil, coal, firewood, plus weapons, steel, and specialized industrial equipment. With these prepped, when it truly came to it, setting up a self-sustaining apocalypse camp wasn't out of the question. I didn't want to save the world, only to live warm and comfortable myself. But I had to guard too. If some other human faction bore down on me, I had to make sure I could hold up and counter. That night, following the info Li Xiaoming gave, I felt my way to the city center and looked up at the building. Sihai Chamber of Commerce. Gao Tianliang worked at this headquarters tower by day and rested in a luxury residence on the top floor by night. To get guns, I'd meet with him tonight. Late at night, I turned invisible and entered the building, skirting security, skipping the elevator, and heading straight up the emergency stairwell. Where I hit a deadlocked door, I used the spatial ability for small-scale pinpoint lock-breaking. Clear all the way to the residence door. 2 bodyguards stood watch at the entrance. Late at night, these 2 were far more serious than those slacking uncles at the mall, standing ramrod straight and sharply alert. I didn't want to leave a corpse. One more body meant one more notch of official attention, which was exactly what I most needed to avoid. Maintaining invisibility, I walked up close and hit each with a spatial imprisonment, pinning them down, then precisely pressed on the blood flow at the back of their heads. In just over 10 seconds, the 2 passed out one after another, sliding silently to the floor. Waking up would be hours away at least, plenty of time for me to finish and leave. I sped up, broke the door lock and barged in, quickly found the master bedroom, and broke through that door too. "Who's there?" The just asleep Gao Tianliang jolted awake and rolled over to grab a gun from a cabinet. Too slow. Spatial imprisonment. His whole body froze mid-motion, holding a comical running pose. This time I left him room to speak. "Where's the gun?" Who's talking?" He peered into the empty air in terror. I didn't answer, just tightened the imprisonment a touch, making his chest cramp and his breath catch. That suffocating fear worked better than any words. A few seconds later I let go. Huff. He gasped in big gulps, his face gone pale. "The gun. Where?" I asked again. This time he wised up. "In the cabinet to the left of the desk." The cabinet opened on its own before his eyes. There's a ghost?" No one had touched it. The dark gun was picked up and inspected, all happening in thin air. He held his breath, not daring to make a sound, and then the gun vanished into nothing too. "How'd you get it? Where's more? I want weapons in bulk. Tell me everything you know, or else." Gao Tianliang barely dared to hesitate, spilling everything like beans from a tube. "The guns came from the Yunnan-Guizhou border. My secret warehouse still has some pistols, AKs, and a few grenades. Take them all. I beg you, spare my life." "The Yunnan-Guizhou border business. Tell me in detail." "Northern Myanmar's got warlords everywhere, tons of guns. I've got business dealings with them, gotten some arms that way. Controls are strict domestically, so I can't get the heavy stuff. If you need it, I can introduce you to the generals over there to talk." Northern Myanmar, warlords, arms, business. Stringing these words together, my thinking opened up completely. In 85 days the authorities would lose control, and man-made disaster would be fiercer than the bitter cold. This bit of stockpiling of mine, I should set my sights outward, go for bulk, go for weapons. Overseas civilian firearms, private military companies, border arms, there was far more to scavenge. Maintaining invisibility, I asked indifferently. "Those generals you mentioned, where are they? What's their strength?" Gao Tianliang didn't dare hesitate. "Around the Yunnan-Guizhou triangle, the exact location is, go there and you'll see those compounds. They've got private armed forces, well-equipped, ruthless in their dealings. Sir, I beg you spare my life. Whatever you need I can handle for you." From start to finish he never saw my face, could only guess my age and identity from the voice in the void, and that unknown made him more afraid than in his blood-on-the-blade days. "I, Gao Tianliang, am willing to serve you like a dog and horse from now on. Spare my life." This big shot, whom the underworld addressed as Master Liang, right now had nothing left but survival instinct, all face and dignity cast aside. I didn't answer. The blood on his hands, those northern Myanmar dealings, either drugs or fraud, each one a human life, had long earned him death several times over. I tightened the imprisonment. He struggled a while, and after a few minutes went still, never knowing to his death who his enemy was. Release. His body slid limply to the floor. I turned to leave and ran right into Sihai Chamber of Commerce's hitters and bodyguards swarming up to check. "Boss, what's with you two? The door's been pried open. Get in there and look." Behind my invisibility, I brushed past them and headed down the emergency stairwell. Outside, more and more people came racing in fancy cars, shrieking the boss is dead. I left soundlessly, walking 3 blocks before dropping the invisibility and flagging a taxi. To the long-distance bus station. A fine rain started midway, hissing as it hit the ground, oddly in tune with the late-night quiet. Settling the fare and getting out at the station, the driver reminded me, "No buses this late. Book a hotel on your phone. Don't listen to the touts on the roadside." I pulled out a bill to thank him. He was delighted. Students really do have manners. A handsome young guy like you. A boundless future ahead. Going by what he said, I booked a hotel for the night, and early the next morning bought a ticket straight for the Yunnan-Guizhou border. After a night of fermenting, the death of Binhai's underworld king Gao Tianliang spread. It didn't alert the authorities, but it blew up the gray and black zone. Sihai Chamber of Commerce executives frantically hunted the killer, clashing in turn with the Wild Wolf Gang and Fierce Tiger Gang, and the whole Binhai City underworld churned into a mess, residents not daring to go out late at night. And as the instigator, I sat cozily on the coach enjoying the scenery. 30 hours of connections, and by dusk I arrived. The Yunnan-Guizhou border. I found a deserted spot to turn invisible and walked straight through the checkpoint. Northern Myanmar borders Longwa by land, and crossing gets you there. I planned to follow the Longwa folks crossing together and take a look. Finding those compounds wouldn't be hard. But before I could go looking, they came to me. Off the bus. Everyone off. Hand over your passports, wallets, phones. Try to run, and we'll shoot you dead. A gang of armed men carrying rifles came charging, robbing and cursing at a batch of Longwa citizens who'd just crossed, forcibly stripping passports and phones, an outright pack of bandits, and meaning to haul people off as piglets, detained, squeezed for money from their families, beaten and abused, and if no more could be wrung out, disposed of on the spot, not unheard of. I watched coldly, invisible, a wave of disgust inside. This bunch of armed thugs, robbing people at gunpoint on the street the moment they crossed the border. After watching a while, I decided to follow them. Everyone carried an AK, decently equipped, and their compound base surely stored more. Follow in and clear out all the weapons. Relying on invisibility and skill, I quickly slipped into their compound. It wasn't dark yet, inconvenient for making a move, so I first scouted around and found my target. The armory. Whoa, hundreds of pistols, 2 big crates of automatic rifles, plus several crates of ammunition and grenades, even a few rocket launchers. No wonder this bunch dared be so arrogant. Warlords, ruling a region by force of arms. Sorry, tonight it's all mine. I hid in the armory, waiting for the dead of night. Storage space on, collect. Pistols, bullets, rifles, grenades, landmines, specialized equipment, rocket launchers. In half an hour, the whole armory was scoured clean, not a single item left. My way out was direct too. I hefted a rocket launcher and aimed it at the armory door. It was these people's turf anyway, no need to be sparing. Boom! The armory door shattered, and the 2 armed guards outside were flung over by the shockwave. Before they could react, I put 2 shots into them, invisible, finishing the 2 armed watchmen. The noise alerted the whole compound, and guards grabbed guns to reinforce. I flung several grenades toward where the guards gathered, targeting the armed hitters specifically, blowing their formation into chaos to open a gap for the detained people to flee. In the confusion, I'd already slipped out of the compound. Outside the compound, I watched, invisible, the flames soaring and the crowd surging within. This bunch ran poison powder and telecom fraud businesses across the globe, and these past few years had gone especially brutal on Longwa citizens. Since I'd come, I couldn't just leave like this. I set up the rocket launcher again, aiming at the compound's armed strongpoints and watchtowers, the places they used to pin the piglets and block escape routes. 1 round up, and a watchtower along with the gate was blown sky high. With the guard strongpoints collapsing, the detained piglets and technical staff surged out at the sound, desperately seeking a way to live. As for the rest, let these warlords fret over it themselves. Having cleared the first compound, I'd collected a sizable batch of arms, several hundred pistols, over 100 rifles, 2 or 3 crates of grenades and rocket launchers, more than enough for self-protection. I found a secluded spot to drop invisibility, ate, drank, and rested. Rested enough, I kept going. This was just the smallest of many compounds, with bigger ones still ahead, more armed, and doing more evil. Over one night, I cleared out 3 more of the largest local compounds. Over 1,000 assorted pistols, several hundred AKs, several hundred sets of specialized equipment, enough to outfit an elite special operations battalion. At each place, I specifically blew up their armed strongpoints and firepower positions, blasting out flames that soared to the sky. The commotion was too big, and all of northern Myanmar churned into a mess. The warlord soldiers scrambled everywhere, and seeing another faction's people, they suspected the other side was stirring things up and opened fire on the spot. A hit B, B hit C, and the chain reaction turned this small patch straight into a modern war. Overnight, those telecom fraud compounds were indirectly cleared out by their own people. Standing atop a high building overlooking the chaos, I chuckled softly. Don't rush, yours truly's just running you a dress rehearsal of the apocalypse ahead of time. Having watched and rested enough, I turned invisible again, blended into the fleeing horde of piglets to head back to Longwa, and left the Yunnan-Guizhou border at dawn, catching a ride inland. Back in Binhai City to rest and regroup for a day. I got up the next day and kept planning. From now on, main targets go abroad. I've prepped plenty of personal supplies. No point loitering in Binhai City anymore. Going out to grab more bulk and more foreign specialties is better. Decided, I immediately started applying for tourist visas to various countries. Those few countries in continental Europe, several in North and South America, and neighboring countries nearby, I submitted tourist applications to all of them. Get them going first, and take a trip when there's a chance. 1. To collect supplies and specialties, adding some confidence for the apocalypse. 2. While the world's still at peace, I wanted to travel a bit myself. Once the glacier arrives and the globe freezes over, there'd be no such chance. Visas take time, and I didn't idle in that gap, running around collecting domestically. At this stage, what I collected was mainly bulk goods and specialized machinery: gasoline, diesel, coal, plus excavators, bulldozers, snowplows. With ample energy and this industrial equipment, I had the possibility of infinite creation, making heat, making a warm and safe apocalypse base for my own exclusive use. Among this batch of supplies was one special item: water. Yes, water. Washing clothes, cooking, drinking, bathing, none can do without it, and agriculture and industry need it even more. But once the glacier arrives and the globe freezes over, all rivers, lakes, and seas ice up, and drawing water gets hard. Melting ice takes heat, and heat in that world is life itself. Last life in the apocalypse, I stared at a frozen solid mineral water bottle and nearly died of thirst. This life, I'd stockpile enough no matter what, achieve water freedom. The method was crude and simple. I went straight to Longwa's most water-abundant Long River and ran storage into the river around the clock. Minus cooling and eating, I could collect 80,000 tons a day, and a week of collecting came to over 500,000 tons total. But to the Long River, which held nearly 1 trillion tons, this was nothing worth mentioning. The river water under my feet still surged the same, the level probably not dropping even a centimeter. Nature's power is the truly boundless one. Collect all I might. I'd only taken a drop from the ocean. But no matter, all I wanted was to live well myself. Over 500,000 tons. Enough, right? Then I thought again and felt it wasn't. Down the line, rebuilding industry and setting up a base, industrial water use was vast, and 500,000 tons couldn't hold up. This week's wish list happened to refresh, so I'd wish to upgrade the storage a bit. System: strengthen the storage space. Focus on the collection weight cap and continuous time. Match my current strength as best you can. This time I didn't hand the system a tough problem, giving it a reasonable range. You can definitely do it, so just do it well. Ding! Upgrade successful. Collection cap raised to 10 tons. Continuous time extended to 3 hours. Cap doubled, time doubled too. Overall efficiency up fourfold, considerable. Over the next week, I used the upgraded ability to keep collecting water at the Long River, adding another 2 million plus tons, and with the earlier haul, 3 million tons total. Opening the storage space for a look, a stretch of fresh water hung suspended, like a galaxy, drawn as needed. Looking at this man-made lake amassed over 2 weeks, I felt quite accomplished. Even come the apocalypse, I'd lack no water for drinking, industry, or irrigation. The water collecting work came to a stop. I stayed 2 days in a city along the Long River, touring and collecting. During this time, the visas I'd applied for earlier came back one by one. Several Southeast Asian countries and a few neighbors approved first, while the farther continental Europe, Pretty Country, and Samba Country were still in process, probably wouldn't reject me, so I'd just wait. Then set out tomorrow, first stop a nearby neighbor. Booked the flight that day, a direct night flight. Before departing, there was one small matter. The new week's wish list had refreshed again. This time I was going abroad for a big harvest, and for efficiency and safety, I'd upgrade invisibility a bit more. Right now, invisibility paired with storage could hold for 2 hours, after which I had to appear and rest a bit to recharge. 2 hours guaranteed 95% of my safety, but for the remaining 5, I'd strengthen it, and the harvest efficiency would go up along with it. Match current strength, strengthen invisibility as best you can. Submitted. Ding! Invisibility duration raised to 3 hours. Good. Confidence bolstered further. That night, I boarded the flight to the neighboring country, landing in its capital a few hours later. Out of the airport was a rush of foreign unfamiliarity. I flagged a taxi and named my destination in limited English. Sanshin Industrial Headquarters. That's right, tonight's target was Sanshin, this monster-tier conglomerate that had stood for decades. Its business map spanned real estate, insurance, high-tech, and entertainment, and one firm's economic weight alone made up over 20% of the whole country. There was a local saying, "The 3 things you can't escape in life are death, taxes, and Sanshin." Born in its hospitals, schooled in its schools, cramming to squeeze into its companies for work. The insurance you buy and the house you live in are all its, and even your funeral affairs use it. A conglomerate like this crushed people breathless. This country's land really wasn't big. On the map, still less than another country's single province. Cabbing from one end of the city to the other, before half an hour was up, the driver called out in broken English, "Hey bro, come on." Arrived. Settling the fare and getting out, I looked up at the Sanshin industrial building, ringed by industrial parks. Small as the country was, Sanshin's wealth wasn't small, not to be underestimated. As the earliest conglomerate to plug into the international scene, Sanshin held top-tier tech in semiconductors, phones, screens, chemicals, and memory chips. What I wanted tonight was exactly this. Once the glacier arrives and the globe goes dead silent, industry halts and humanity's tech development gets cut off cold. I wanted to store a batch of high-end industry and technology in advance. Not to save the world, of course, but for self-protection and development. If I could rebuild industry and rebuild electronic tech while other survivors were still using cold weapons and living like savages, what would they have to fight me for? Come courting death, and I'd let them taste what dimensional reduction strike means. Under cover of night, I first turned invisible and scouted 2 rounds, mapping out the surrounding layout to ensure I could come and go freely in the dead of night. At the appointed hour, I got my face mask disguise ready, guarding against unexpected exposure from blind spot cameras, then turned invisible and charged into the industrial park. First stop, the command room of the high-end screen production workshop. I didn't bother with details like cutting power or shutting off cameras, just went straight in and used my skills to down the watch personnel one by one. Why not use a gun? Not being a saint. It was fear of stray bullets wrecking data and equipment, and more, fear that gunfire too loud would draw security too early and mess up the harvest. People down, collect. Workstations, servers, the archive room, all into storage space. The machine tools and robotic arms in the workshop that I couldn't make sense of, I collected along too. Looked pricey at a glance. Half an hour, and the whole workshop was scoured clean, not a single high-precision piece of equipment left. Done leaving. Just about to head out, I heard a commotion outside. Security had found the stuff vanished into thin air and rushed to check, but too late. Behind my invisibility, I brushed past them and left the scene. After that, I moved on to the chip, phone, telecom, and heavy industry workshops. Efficiency as usual all the way, storage on full blast, swept away in a flash, basically no trouble met. Security put up some resistance too, locking down workshops, sealing doors, keeping close watch, no use. Deadlocked doors I blew with the ability, and where I couldn't blow them, a rocket launcher would always get them open. At my level, wherever I passed, not one good item was left. Turning the whole industrial park upside down, this wild rampage of mine set off a complete sensation. The security and staff on site were all dumbfounded, each with eyes wide, unable to figure it out for the life of them. So much equipment, how did it vanish into thin air in an instant? Was it divine punishment, a haunting, or man-made? Couldn't figure it out, really couldn't. Behind my invisibility, I strolled through the crowd, churning in chaos, like a bystander, overlooking this masterwork of mine, full of accomplishment. I made my way to the park's last big workshop, the chemical workshop. Through the door was a pungent, dizzying chemical stench that no carbon-based creature could stand. Holding my breath, I went in to look. Large equipment stood dense, thick pipes crisscrossing, like a steel jungle. Spectacular it was, but these things were mostly connected as whole units, big and heavy, and even the upgraded storage couldn't take them in. I could only collect some engineering machinery and prepare to withdraw. Just about to leave, I found a whole stretch of chemical consumables warehouse over there. Gasoline, diesel, engine oil, poured into storage space like pumping water, a large oil tank emptied in seconds. The watchmen were all struck dumb, cursing and clutching their heads, hollering wildly. I had no time for them. Wasting a few seconds meant collecting several tons less. Busy over an hour, I cleared out all the chemical consumables stored in the park. Done. Invisibility time was almost up too, leaving. I'd come swaggering and wanted to walk right out the front gate leaving too, only to be blocked by a big crowd of security. The whole park was under lockdown, no letting anyone out. My face sank, no more holding back. I took out weapons and started fighting. A few rocket rounds in succession, and the front gate along with the guards blocking the way was flipped over. Shifting position to dodge stray fire, I flung a few grenades for close blasts and drew guns at close quarters. This much commotion, and the park's camp fully blew. Everyone rushed frantically outward, ramming whoever blocked them. By now everyone was a suspect, all afraid they'd die if they didn't run. The lockdown was violently broken by the human tide, the gate railing knocked over. I seized the moment to go with the flow, whistling as I sauntered slowly out of the scene. Walking far off, I looked back at the park with flames soaring and smoke billowing, and chuckled softly. This one night, enough to cost you tens or hundreds of billions, right? So-called conglomerate giants, in the face of an ability, weren't they all toppled by me alone? Turning around, I flagged a taxi to the airport. This neighboring country had nothing left worth taking, so I left, but didn't go back to Binhai City, heading straight for the next stop, Sakura Country. The two countries were close, with many flights, and 2 hours after reaching the airport I was on the plane, another 2 hours to land. Out of the airport was again a fresh set of architecture and customs. The economy here was developed too, but plenty of details in the architecture. Clothing and living habits still lean traditional. Seeing it was still early, I first found a luxury hotel to check into. Tired all night the night before, I'd catch up on sleep by day and make my move at night. I slept clear through to nightfall. Before heading out, I first flipped through the international news and sure enough spotted the headline I wanted in the neighboring country section. Shocking. 10 trillion vanished overnight. Paranormal event. Sanshin headquarters emptied overnight. Equipment vanished without a trace. Suspected the work of a certain great Eastern power. Appalling. Sanshin president weeps and faints. Rushed to hospital. In the surveillance footage, the supplies vanished into thin air in just an instant. Rocket rounds and grenades flying out of the void. No operator visible. A pure paranormal event. Inexplicable. Domestic heated debate aside, it blew up internationally too. I chuckled and turned off the phone. What a fuss over nothing. 2 months from now, when the apocalypse arrives, you'll learn what bizarre really means. Over the next few days, I'd give Sakura Country a taste too. Over the following days I stayed in Sakura Country, riding trains and ferries by day, touring city by city, my tracks all over the island. At nightfall I made my move, picking targets and collecting. The main targets were conglomerates like Binda, Fengda, and Samling Heavy Industry. They'd amassed no small amount of industrial tech, and I'd collect it as reserve to roll out fast in the apocalypse. Beyond industry, I didn't neglect living supplies either. Kobe Wagyu, top-grade seafood, collected on site. Not all for the taste, mainly to satisfy curiosity and enrich the variety of my reserves. Pillaging Sakura Country for a week, I stirred the whole island into upheaval. Under the name Trans-Spatial Thief, I dominated the headlines for a full week, from imperial family and nobility down to lie-flat slacker shut-ins, everyone in daily dread. Quite satisfying. A week later, thoroughly content, I left, continuing south, crossing the ocean to Kangaroo Country. Crossing the ocean, I landed in Kangaroo Country. A large land country, the vistas were open. Taking in a bit of the foreign scenery, I made my move that very night. Kangaroo Country was rich in products, especially bulk, steel, coal, wool. This time these were exactly my main targets. First stop, the largest local iron ore mining and steel plant. Looking at this steel town, at the giant chimneys one after another, I was full of anticipation. A scale this big, the output was bound to be considerable. Find the reserve warehouse first, collect. After 2 rounds of practice in Sakura Country and Kimchi Country, I got increasingly seasoned at finding targets, and entering the park I quickly locked onto the rebar warehouse. Turned invisible and slipped in, first creating a wave of chaos to stun security, then storage on full blast. Incidentally, during that week in Sakura Country the wish list refreshed again, and I still wished to upgrade storage. By now, the single cap had reached 20 tons, and continuous work extended to 4 hours. A night basically needed just 1 rest break, all other time at full power. 20 tons of rebar, collect. 20 tons of copper, collect. Iron ore, rare metals, collect. Not a single ore or raw material in the warehouse left out. 3 hours in, the whole steel plant's warehouse was scoured clean. Then I turned to collect machinery and transport vehicles. The park naturally blew up again, workers halting to gather and watch. Since the name, Trans-Spatial Thief, had already spread, this time they weren't quite so panicked, but the heartache and resentment were unavoidable. A whole plant emptied in one night, heavy losses. Behind my invisibility, I paced through the crowd, chuckling inwardly. I know you're anxious, don't rush yet. I'll be around the next few days. Day 1 the steel plant. Day 2 the cotton mill. Day 3 the coal mine. Days 4, 5, and 6 I set no precise targets, taking it as it came, hitting a wave wherever I saw a plant or storage. Efficient every day, hulls maxed out. By day 7, I eased up and scheduled myself some light work, collecting some daily goods, food, and specialties, then preparing to leave. This day's targets focused on supermarkets and fresh food storage. Milk powder, Australian lobster, king crab, collected all on site. I also grabbed a lot of specialties along the way, kangaroo meat, wild rabbit meat, and such. Kangaroo country was vast with a sparse population, large inland stretches being desert wasteland no man's land, which instead bred overflowing wild animals. Many places allowed or even encouraged hunting, so there was a game processing industry. I'd never eaten these meats, so I'd stockpile them first and study the cooking later in the apocalypse when there's time. This last pleasant day passed too. Amid the weeping and cursing of kangaroo country's people, I boarded my flight and left in style. Arrived an emperor, departed an immortal. Truly satisfying. Leaving kangaroo country, my next target locked onto Latin America, the big countries of Samba country and football king country. These countries were mostly developing nations, economically weak with internal turmoil, but their land wasn't small and could produce large quantities of bulk goods: wheat, soybeans, wool, beef, and mutton. Samba country also had considerable gold reserves and no small amount of rare metal ores, all vital industrial raw materials. The cross-ocean flight was long, and mid-flight I opened the system to wish again. The coming weeks were still mainly stockpiling and pillaging. Storage's continuous work had reached 4 hours, and if invisibility couldn't keep up, it had become a shortcoming. The barrel effect. I didn't want to be dragged down by a single short stave. Ding, wish successful. Invisibility duration raised to 4 hours. Perfectly matched. I slept beautifully all night in first class and landed in football king country at noon the next day. Living up to being King Messi's homeland, football elements were everywhere. Balls painted on street walls, youths playing ball all over roads and empty lots, their skills dazzling to watch. I watched a while as a tourist and smiled helplessly. Longwa was vast and rich with talents emerging in droves, so why on earth was football so hopeless? I was quite into football normally, just a passing sentiment. At dusk, I entered work mode. On the Pampas highland, I turned invisible and slipped into a livestock farm, collecting milk, beef, mutton. These were cattle and sheep raised on the Great Plains' rich grass, high grade in meat and milk quality, purely natural and pollution-free. One night's work, and I emptied the largest ranch on the plains. At daybreak, I moved on to neighboring Samba country. This country was extremely dependent on bulk exports, resource-rich itself, so I stayed a few more days. First night collecting metal ores, second night collecting agricultural bulk like soybeans, wheat, and white sugar, third night collecting both plus a wave of coal. 3 days in, the hauls were bountiful. Continuing north to Moxage. This country was a bit absurd, economically backward with internal turmoil, gangs and drug lords everywhere, nothing good to collect. Collect poison powder, take out gang bosses? Forget it, those things couldn't be touched, endless trouble down the line. Skip. Moxage bordered Eagle Sauce by land, and this time I didn't fly across countries, just climbed the wall, the with my body kind. Reaching the border, one glance was that high wall, barbed electric netting on top, soldiers with guns patrolling below. However tight the defense, it couldn't stop smugglers swarming. Not long after arriving, I saw a group of caught smugglers squatting on the ground awaiting disposal, mostly from Moxage, some from other countries too. Among them was even an East Asian face. Leaning in for a look, it really was a Longwa person who tried to smuggle across as a refugee, got caught, and was squatting there dejected. I watched and shook my head, not meddling. Everyone had their own path, and his had reached its end, with the rules over there to handle him. I only muttered in my heart, what's the point? Turned and left. That wall was built high, security complete, said to have cost over 5 billion. But to me, with invisibility, it was purely for show. Others risked their lives climbing it, while I walked openly through the border checkpoint, as if into an unpeopled land, and reached Eagle Sauce soil in no time. Another whole new scenery. Compared to the filth and disorder to the south, the southern plains of Eagle Sauce were mostly plantations and intensive megafarms, open and vast at a glance, just right to get to work. That night I circled a few super large farms in the south and collected wheat, corn, potatoes, vegetables, stock all cleared out. Over the following days I went from south to north, hitting a wave and collecting a wave wherever I saw a farm or industrial base. Then wound from east to west, cutting across all of Eagle Sauce in a super grand pillage. High-tech parks, financial districts, Turtle Valley, Wallier Street. I toured them all, collecting the useful, and where things were useless and just wasted my time, I stirred up a scene on the spot, turning districts and cities upside down. It drew soldiers and agents, and I wasn't flustered either, relying on invisibility plus skill to maneuver, flinging grenades to spar with them. A few times, seeing fighter jets and special forces deployed and the whole city about to lock down, I hurried off to another city. They couldn't catch me anyway. This was a scientific world, and the ability superhumans in movies simply couldn't be produced in reality. My ability was one of a kind, inexplicable to anyone, uncatchable by anyone. This eagle saw stop I worked for 10 days, the longest stretch yet. The land was big, industry and agriculture developed, supplies too plentiful. Farm produce, fresh food, refined oil, fuel, energy storage batteries, collecting all out every day still took a lot of time. Over these 10 days, all of Eagle Sauce's public opinion and national defense blew up. Who exactly is the trans-spatial thief? What right does he have to come running to our strongest country too? Yet we just can't do anything about him. Helpless, the authorities could only steer public opinion, slowly tamping down the public's chatter and anger. After 10 days, I stayed 2 more, very restrained, no longer using the ability to collect goods. 1. To fake having already left, cooling down the news, to avoid future travel restrictions or being watched. 2. To catch my breath and clear my head. Nearly a month straight of cross-country flying and collecting, and this hard-working little bee of me was more exhausted than a 996 programmer, running around the clock 24 hours a day. This day, I wandered York Times Square, looking up at the giant screens, munching snacks and resting. 2 days of no activity, and the headlines were still all my news. Eagle Sauce, you're this scared? Honestly, I still prefer your former arrogant self. Idly scanning the news and ads on the screens, a nondescript piece of news suddenly made my hand pause, my expression instantly turning grave, and I stood up on the spot. How could it be this early? I murmured it very softly, a little dazed, a little unwilling to believe. That piece of news in the screen's corner, utterly nondescript compared to my trans-spatial thief headlines, a tiny segment, its wording vague. Eagle Sauce Space Agency NASB announces latest finding. Recent abnormal solar activity, inexplicable ejection of solid matter, surface temperature slightly down. Experts' preliminary judgment, no impact on Earth. To others, this was a casually mentioned bit of pop science, but as a reborn person, I knew it was extremely critical. In a certain sense, it heralded the arrival of a new era. No mistake. I remember it crystal clear. Last life, it was a month after Benhai University's semester started that NASB first published this piece. But now, a full month earlier. What did this mean? Facing such an abnormal timing, I couldn't help thinking more. Could this life's glacial apocalypse be arriving a month early? Then 7 days from now would be the day the sun goes haywire and abruptly dies? Last life, it was exactly 7 days after this piece was published that the sun died without any warning and the globe panicked. From that day, the solar system fell into polar night, lasting about a month. A month later, the sun relit, but was permanently changed, giving off far less heat than before, no longer able to hold Earth's natural equilibrium, ice, snow, and gales endlessly ravaging the land. This, then, was the true origin of the glacial apocalypse. So looking at this suddenly released bulletin, I was very tense. I'd caught the scent of the apocalypse. Taking a few deep breaths, I forced myself to calm down and recalculate. For the sake of my own absolute safety, the major premise had to change. The timeline was a month early, and 7 days from now was the day the sun dies. What should I do now? Go home. Go home immediately, back to Benhai City. That was the place most familiar to me from 3 years of survival. Go back and erect the apocalypse fortress the system gave, seal myself in a hermit's shell, ignore everyone. That was the steadiest strategy. Having set the top priority task, I immediately headed for the airport, at the same time booking tickets online as fast as possible, back to Longwa tonight. First class or economy, big plane or small, none of it mattered. I had to go, and go now. Fairly lucky, I caught the earliest flight back to Longwa. Lying back in the seat late at night, I couldn't sleep, my mind still turning over the deeper meaning of that NASB news. If this life's apocalypse really came a month early, then with this kind of anomaly, would there be other surprises down the line? Following the thought further, could it be my rebirth wasn't a simple rebirth? Had my rebirth altered this universe's timeline, like those parallel universe, multiverse theories? Or was I not reborn at all, but on a trip crossing space and time? The normal, the abnormal, I thought about a lot, and for now none of it had answers. Silent a long while. I could only convince myself. At least I prepped plenty of supplies. However the timeline shifted, as long as the world stayed broadly the same and the apocalypse stayed the same apocalypse, a bit colder was fine. If I, the one with a cheat, couldn't survive. Who in the whole world could hold out? Having thought through this point, I stopped fretting over nothing. Things depend on human effort. Do your best and leave the rest to fate. I'd already done well enough. Just stay brave. Amid these thoughts, I drifted groggily to sleep. The next day, a flight attendant woke me. "Hello, sir. The flight has landed. Please gather your belongings and prepare to disembark." I jolted awake. Landed? Landed where? She was startled. Landed in Longhua. Huff. Good, thank you. At this, I finally set my heart at ease. Off the plane, the first step onto Longhua soil, and the sense of security came right back. Around me were familiar skin tones, familiar writing, and getting things done was much smoother. It was still morning, and a night on the plane was tiring, but I didn't plan to rest, just flagged a taxi. Driver, a trip to Binhai University. Back in Binhai City, first stop was the school. I wanted to erect the apocalypse fortress the system rewarded inside Binhai University. Not now, of course. I'd wait until the glacial apocalypse was confirmed to descend and the snow was thick enough. A word of context first. Once the apocalypse arrives, the whole globe will see blizzards raging through the nights without stop, ultra-low temperatures plus fierce winds able to bury all of Binhai City and the whole world under. Snow layers up to 10 meters at their thickest, about 3 stories high. The globe frozen, a stretch of white, mountains dancing like silver snakes, a truly magnificent sight, provided you could stay indoors, tending heat and ample supplies, watching slowly. Actually going out in such weather, and you'd get frostbite in minutes, a small accident of getting lost or slipping and falling enough to cost your life. So my plan was to let it snow a few days first, let the snow layer stabilize, then erect the fortress. What needed doing now was to pick the base of operations first. I'd long had the site in mind. Binhai University's Backhill Outdoor Stadium, Chuyang Stadium. Open and flat, good construction foundation, convenient for erecting the fortress. Built on the hill with high terrain, open sightlines, easy to defend and hard to attack. Besides, last life my survival range already circled Binhai University, and this life continuing to root here maxed out my information advantage, which was key. Beyond the rational judgment. Choosing here had one more layer of private motive, revenge. Chung Peng, Wang Qi, Lu Datu, Li Xueqing, Gao Yue, those few who disgusted me last life, dealt me cold shots time and again, desperately blocked my survival. Not one would escape this life. In the apocalypse, holing up alone easily broke one's mind, and having these old acquaintances for company meant less loneliness. Carrying a faint anticipation, I went to the back hill and looked over Chaoyang Stadium in person, very satisfied. Commanding from above, sightlines open enough, safe to erect the fortress. Next, I'd first rent a temporary base near the school, convenient for the eventual move and quick fortress raising. Calculating as I walked down the hill, halfway down the stone steps, I suddenly heard talking below the slope. A female voice, hushed, yet carrying an unconcealable smugness, that familiar green tea tone, and I halted at once. Li Xueqing. I didn't rush to show myself, following the voice closer, stopping behind the shrubs, and quietly listening. Yin Hao? That fat lump, oh. Li Xueqing was on the phone, her tone airy. He's willing to buy it for me himself? Did I stop him? Last time 2 lipsticks broke, I mentioned it in passing and he replaced them without a word. Just have him bring them when the semester starts. The other end said something, and she laughed wider. Like him? Like him my foot. Fat and dull, a total simp. Keeping him around is useful. You don't get it. This kind's the handiest. Act a little cold toward him, and he panics, terrified you'll ignore him. Gives whatever you ask. Relax, I've got the balance nailed down. Just stringing him along is enough. Actually dating, who could stand that face of his? Listening to this call from up the slope, my heart surged, not from surprise but confirmation. Last life, Yin Hao was my roommate. Honest, naive, poured his heart out to this woman, and in the end got schemed into ruin, person and money both. So this was the root of it. Record it. I pulled out my phone, recorded the whole latter half of her words, then, in no rush to leave, walked openly down the stone steps. Li Xueqing hung up, turned, and saw me, first dazed. Then that familiar expression slid onto her face. First surprise, then sweetness, finally melting into a doe-eyed, innocent look. Huh? Su Ming, how are you back at school so early? Quite a phone call. I flashed the phone screen at her. Wonder how Yin Hao would feel hearing it. The sweetness on her face froze, her eyes darting a quick circle, and she instantly switched into another act, voice softening, body leaning slightly forward. You heard it all? That. I was just talking casually. Su Ming, you wouldn't take it seriously, would you? Seeing me not pick up the thread, she inched half a step closer, her usual routine coming out. Actually, I've always thought you were pretty special, different from Yin Hao and them. Whatever you want. Let's discuss privately, okay? This recording, delete it, HM. I watched her act, unmoving, not angry, just finding it tedious. How many had this routine wound in last life? And she probably really thought it worked on anyone. Discuss. I gave a laugh. You've got it wrong. I don't want anything of yours, and I don't plan to do anything with this recording now. Li Shueqing froze. Then what? Did you record it for? Keeping it. I put the phone back in my pocket, tone flat. You're kind. When things are smooth sailing, no one can rein you in. But everyone has their day of ruin. When that comes, whether this thing is your life or someone else's, that'll be hard to say. She clearly didn't get it, took me as putting on airs, pursed her lips, and that bit of guilt got covered over by luck again. Tisk, all mysterious. What's it got to do with you how I treat Yin Hao? He's willing. I didn't force him. He is willing. I nodded, turning to head down the hill. You're willing too. Each of us, just remember it. A few steps on, I looked back at her. She still stood in place, smugness and unease wrestling back and forth on her face, probably mulling what this recording could actually do to her. I didn't explain further. That she couldn't figure it out was normal. When the sun dies 7 days from now and the whole city sinks into an anarchic glacier, she'd naturally understand. By then, whose hands held something that could destroy her entire network of relationships, and what that meant. By then, revenge wouldn't be urgent. There'd be plenty of time, plenty of ways. For now, I still had real business. Go back, rent a base, prep the fortress. Down the hill, I flagged a car heading out of the school. But that string in my heart hadn't slackened. The apocalypse being a month early still weighed, and the 7-day countdown was running. This city soon wouldn't look the way it did now. Other girls have simps and backups too. So I keep one Yin Hao. So what? Li Shueqing straightened up, self-righteous. I have him buy things, I didn't force him. He's happy to do it. Happy himself. How's that my fault? My face full of distaste. I'm not talking about how you treat Yin Hao. It's this knowingly doing wrong attitude of yours. Clear on everything, yet still doing everything. You're not stupid. You use people's genuine feelings as a stepping stone and think yourself clever. That's exactly what disgusts me most. The words out, matters from last life's apocalypse, surged up again. Li Shueqing back then was just like this too. All smiles and gentleness on the surface, dealing cold-blooded blows behind, never feeling herself wrong from start to finish. Thinking of this, my gaze at her turned cold. Li Shueqing was clearly jolted by this look, retreating half a step, voice going thin. You, don't look at me like that. Okay, I get it. I won't fish for Yin Hao anymore, all right? He sends things and I'll refuse. That works, right? She was actually bewildered, muttering inwardly. Over one fat lump. Does Su Ming have to hate this much? We had no grudge to begin with. That much I could tell. She had no idea about last life's account. Just as well, better she didn't know. Remember these words of yours. I withdrew my gaze, tone leveling out. As for the account between us, I'll settle it with you slowly later. With that I turned and headed down the hill. Behind me Li Shueqing was still standing there dazed. Account? What account? Su Ming, spell it out for me. I didn't look back. That she couldn't figure it out was normal. When this city changes form 7 days from now, she'd naturally understand what it means for whose hands hold something that could destroy her entire network of relationships. Down the hill, I walked pulling out my phone, sent Yin Hao a few WeChat messages, and forwarded the recording of that call along. Listen for yourself. This is Li Shueqing. Stay away from her from now on. She'll ruin you to the bitter end. Not 3 seconds after the message went out, Yin Hao's call came in. Mingji, this recording, where'd you get it? His voice trembled, his breathing uneven. I recounted what I'd heard and recorded on the back hill, start to finish. Yin Hao was silent a long while, then squeezed out a line. Did you quarrel with Shueqing to her face? Won't she feel awful? I couldn't pick up the thread for a moment. So the crux is here? How she schemed against you, treated you as an ATM, and you don't ask a word, but first fret whether she feels awful. I sighed. Yin Hao, listen to the recording again. Did I make up those words of hers? The other end went quiet a few more seconds, then the tone suddenly turned cold. Humph, that's her business too. I'm chasing Shueqing, you know that. You went behind my back to record her private matters. What's that supposed to be? Fine, I'll ask her myself. Hanging up. 2 beeps, and he hung up. I stood frowning by the roadside, growing more exasperated the more I thought. This guy would rather believe Li Shueqing than the recording? Over on the back hill, Li Shueqing had just straightened her clothes when her phone rang too. Who's this at a time like? This big idiot? Seeing it was Yin Hao, her mind spun fast. Su Ming must have leaked the earlier business to him. So how to take this call now? Biting her lip, she calculated a few seconds, and an idea popped up. Su Ming came to sow discord, so I'll bite back. I'll say Su Ming ran into me alone on the back hill, got bad intentions, put his hands on me, and when I refused, he got angry, quarreled with me, and recorded my call to frame me. As long as I fool that pushover Yin Hao, the two brothers are bound to fall out and turn on each other. Mind made up, she put on a wrong-to-the-extreme sobbing voice and took the call. Haoji, Su Ming is so awful. He bullied me. Don't call the police. Don't call the police. If it blows up, my reputation is gone. Yin Hao, don't you know how I feel about you? If I didn't like you, why would I accept your things? Right? You should cut clean ties with him. He's too vile. Hanging up, the wrong look on Li Xueqing's face instantly wiped clean, replaced by a smug, cold smile. Su Ming, oh Su Ming, let's see what you do. Done laughing, she gave a start. No, I'd better hurry off. Once he knows he's been played, he'll surely come settle accounts with me again. She grabbed her things and slipped up the back hill, in the direction opposite to my way down. Outside Binhai University's East Gate. Not long after I'd left the school gate, the phone rang again, still Yin Hao. The moment it connected, that end exploded. Su Ming, I really didn't expect you were this kind of person. 3 years of roommates. I took you as a brother. You knew full well I was chasing Xueqing, and you actually went behind my back to harass her, frame her? Still going on about helping me, about her true face? I think the one showing his true face is you. I moved the phone a bit from my ear, my heart gone completely cold. She really had flipped black and white and fed it all to him, and he hadn't checked a single word, believing at first word. Yin Hao, watch your wording. Watch my ass, he roared. Let me tell you, from now on we're done, no ties left. When the semester starts, I'll get justice for Xueqing too. You wait. No need to listen more. I cut the call and blacklisted all his contact methods at once. Standing outside the gate quiet a moment, I actually laughed. A break was good, saved trouble. Before, I'd still been thinking of quietly helping him out a few times when the apocalypse came, so he could last a few more days. Now that thought was gone without a trace. A person who'd rather believe a frame-up than believe evidence. Feeding him supplies would be feeding them in vain, and he might even bite me back. Cherish life, stay away from friends like this. I wasn't too angry, just found him pitiful. A perfectly good person, throwing his whole dignity in and thinking himself devoted. As for that account with Li Xueqing, no rush, the apocalypse had plenty of time. Tossing these two's nonsense to the back of my mind, I returned to the main matter, quickly finding a real estate agency near Binhai University. I want to pick a unit in one of these developments beside the school. 6th to 9th floor, around 100 square meters, renovated or not is fine. If it's suitable, I'll settle it today. Money's no issue, efficiency matters most. The agent lady was struck dumb on the spot, unable for a moment to tell whether I'd come to shoot a comedy skit or genuinely had the means. I frowned. If you can't make the call, get someone else. I'm pressed for time. I checked my watch. That one move, and her pupils contracted. She clearly recognized that watch, and her smile instantly piled onto her face. Right away. Handsome. Let's go see units now. Viewing was quick too. A 9th floor lightly renovated 2-bedroom. Both size and floor met my requirements. She was still listing other selling points when I raised a hand to cut in. This one. Draw up the contract. Contact the owner. Finish it today. If it's not done today, I'll go elsewhere. She stamped her foot in agreement, and by that afternoon had run through all the procedures. Sending off the starstruck agent who still wanted to add me on WeChat, I next contacted a renovation crew. Reinforce the unit, replace doors and windows, install radiant floor heating, on-site today. Don't tell me the time's tight. 1 million. Can you bring people over today? If not, I'll find another crew. Money slammed down, and the foreman anxiously said he'd be right there. I also rush-ordered a batch of insulated bulletproof glass, ultra-thick alloy doors, a ventilation system, and energy storage lighting. Only after lining up all the timelines did I slump into the sofa to sort out my thoughts. The next day, I woke up fully restored. First thing was flipping the calendar. 6 days left. 6 days, and the sun goes out. Not daring to slack, I got up and cabbed to the unit I'd bought the day before. For the next 6 days, the main task was the rush renovation of this unit. Warmth and defense both had to be done thoroughly, aiming to weather the polar night buffer period safely and comfortably. Everyone put your backs into it. Make good time. Get the whole unit's floor heating laid today, and tonight it's a feast at a 5-star hotel, my treat. Pull all-nighters these few days, and the wages and bonuses will absolutely be there. Once the money power was in place, The workers went at it like they'd been shot up with chicken blood, working at double speed, triple speed, a scene of blazing enthusiasm. But the rushed schedule, the round-the-clock work, and the big commotion drew complaints that very night from neighbors upstairs, downstairs, and a few on the same floor. "Hi, are you the resident of 904? No need to rush the renovation at night, is there? The noise is really disturbing. Hey, young man, construction by day is one thing, but banging away late at night too? Classmate, can you not pick nighttime for renovation? The noise affects sleep." A few neighbors came in turn, all opening with the noise. But their attitudes were fine, normal negotiation, wanting to persuade me to have some consideration for the working folks and stop work at night. To these polite, ordinary residents, I didn't put on a sour face and responded properly. But stopping work was impossible. Every minute and second now was tight, and a night stop would have the utilization of the 6 days. And in the end, I definitely wouldn't be satisfied with the unit's outcome, nor would it be safe enough. So I used another trick. "I won't change, I'll make you change." Sorry, disturbed everyone's rest. "My construction here really is pressing, can't stop at night. How about this? I'll compensate each household 20,000. Trouble you all to stay elsewhere these few days, all right? Anything under heaven that can be settled with money is no problem." Once the cash-scattering offensive launched, the few neighbors quickly and understandingly expressed their understanding, cheerfully took the money and left, and from then on I could construct however I liked, no matter how loud. Seeing off this batch of friendly neighbors, I chuckled. A pile of waste paper trading for time at the critical moment, a worthwhile deal. Money paving the way, construction didn't stop. Just as I thought everything was settled, that widow Jia came knocking to pick a fight with her precious grandson in tow. Bang, bang, bang. "Open up. Su Ming, are you crazy renovating late at night? My precious grandson can't sleep for your racket. How's he supposed to attend class tomorrow?" Before the door even opened, the cursing arrived first. Opening it, the two, grandmother and grandson, stood with hands on hips in unison, looking ready to lay down charges. Jia Bang jumped in first. "Stinking idiot. Hurry up and tell me your home Wi-Fi password. And stop the renovation." I couldn't be bothered to trade curses with a kid, just sank my face and stared at him. "So young and cursing the moment you open your mouth? Who taught you that?" One line, not heavy, but the gaze pressing down, and that little fatty was choked silent under my stare, his arrogance dropping half a notch, sullenly shutting his mouth and hiding behind his grandmother. I turned to widow Jia. "Auntie Jia, I've registered the construction with property management. It's compliant. If you've got objections, go through the property management process. Nothing else to discuss." With that, I moved to close the door. She slapped a hand on the door. "Hold on. You haven't paid up yet." "What money?" 20,000, she shrieked. "Don't play dumb. I know all about it. You gave the other neighbors 20,000 each before they let you renovate at night. I live right below you, suffer the worst. This money, no, make it 30,000. You have to give it. If you don't, I'll lie down at your door and won't let you construct no matter what." Oh, opening her mouth wide as a lion's, 20,000 jumped to 30,000, plus playing the shameless rogue lying at the door. My heart went cold. Compensating the others was because they were polite, could talk it out, and I didn't want trouble, so I traded money for time. When it came to you, widow Jia, opening your mouth to extort, not a cent. Go back. My tone was flat. This of yours isn't negotiation, it's extortion. Don't even think about it. She was stunned, then blew up. Why? You gave the others so much. Why not me? Su Ming, you're bullying too far. She lay right down on the ground on the spot, limbs flailing, and started wailing. Bullying. A tyrant bullying honest folk, not letting people live. Today this old woman will cry herself to death right here, and tomorrow you collect the body. Her voice was loud to begin with, and this outburst actually drowned out the construction noise in my unit. I watched coldly. Save your strength. Cry your lungs out today, and I still won't give a cent. This time I didn't plan to act myself. Seeing her thick-skinned, shameless, fully lying flat posture, even if I forcibly drove her off, she could come back again. Actually laying hands and bumping or bruising the old lady would drag in the authorities and hospitals again, a pure waste of time. I pulled out my phone and dialed. "Hello, property management? Please send someone to Building 1, Unit 904. There's a dispute to handle. Bring in another crew to face off with her." Property management, holding both jurisdiction and a duty of service over community residents, was far more adept than me at dealing with this kind of rogue. People arrived soon. A junior property management leader surnamedly came up. "What's going on here?" I didn't explain much, just pulled him straight into the unit and laid 3 bundles of red bills on the table. Director Lee's expression changed at once, and he piled on a smile. "Oh, Mr. Su, hello, hello. Ran into trouble, just moving in." I recounted this extortion and rogue act outside the door and pointed at the money. "Director Lee, if you can send this Annie off and keep her from coming to pick fights again, this 30,000. Easy, easy." His eyes lit up staring at the money, and he thumped his chest on the spot. Outside the door, Director Lee put on his airs and barked at the floor-lying widow Jia. "Auntie Jia, get up. Young Su here is doing normal nighttime construction, registered, and you're not to obstruct it." "Bullshit." She perked right up. "This is disturbing residence." Well, I see it now. You Lee fellow have been bought off, ganging up to bully honest folk. I won't live anymore." Director Lee's face darkened, spouting slander. "Fine, keep making a scene. Once I go downstairs, I'll cut off your home's water, power, and gas right away, and see what you cook with tomorrow." This move struck the spot. Widow Jia's wailing hitched. No. You can't cut my home's water, power, and gas, or my whole family goes hungry tomorrow." With pressure from outside, that domineering streak of hers leaked out clean, and she wobbled to her feet, hanging her head with a sigh. Fine. Whatever time this Su Ming wants to renovate, I won't care." Coming spirited, leaving looking just like a defeated old hen, she hunched down the stairs supported by her grandson. I had to hand it to them. Property management really knew how to handle people, striking precisely with one move. Not fearing the county magistrate, but the one in immediate charge, nothing could fit better here. Watching her leave dejected, I felt satisfied. An old bag also wanting to extort money out of me? Even if I scattered this money into the sea or burned it to ash, I wouldn't give you a dime. Handling Widow Jia in one go, the renovation over the following days had no other trouble, and I was basically supervising, watching the progress and standards. "Mr. Su, why's this door you ordered so thick and heavy? It's on par with a bank vault door. I've been installing doors for 20 years and never seen anyone's home done like this." I stayed unruffled. "This door? I'm planning to make a game room. Escape room type, get it? Mr. Su, so many layers of insulation, is it necessary? Binhai City winters aren't that cold. I've got rheumatism, absolutely can't catch cold in winter." Then sealing the balcony dead with 2 layers of bulletproof glass and steel plate. "What's that for?" "I fear light and wind, an old ailment." The plan was bizarre, as if building an apocalypse fortress, but the workers, given the 10,000 a day wages, didn't ask much. Best not to pry into the young rich guy's privacy. Rushing all the way, 5 days passed, and the temporary fortress was complete. The acceptance check met all my requirements, heavy and safe overall. The doors and windows were all swapped for bulletproof, thickened, insulated, light-blocking ones. The power supply had a separate generator line run in, so even with the whole city blacked out, I'd have power freedom here. The water supply had an independent circulation and pressurization system, and as long as the external tank held water, I could get running water anytime, with built-in heating too, warm for baths and washing up. What I was proudest of was that super security door, solid one-piece forged metal, several tons heavy, with electronic lock, mechanical lock, and steel bar bolt in a triple lock, fitted with an electronic peephole and firing port small on the outside and wide on the inside. So from within you could observe and attack, while from outside there was no breaking it open at all. Ultimate safety. Tallying item by item, I was quite satisfied, though still a bit short of the system's 2-story big fortress. It was enough to resist extreme cold and the destructive assaults of savage humans. Once the sun goes out tomorrow, I'd shut the door and, say what you will, not go out. Holed up in a warm room eating well, watching movies, playing games, no school, no work, how carefree. The thought of that crowd outside still having to endure cold and hunger in their desperate struggle to survive fired me up all the more. Just as I was blissfully fantasizing, my phone rang. A look at the caller, Lu Datu. What did he want with me for no reason? After thinking it over, I still answered. If I didn't, he'd probably call without end. "Hey Lu Datu, what's up? Su Ming, do you not know what these few days are?" I paused. "What days?" Could he also know the sun goes out tomorrow? Just as I was on guard, his next line dissolved it. "Semester registration. Big bro, can you show your face? It's been 3 or 4 days, and you're absent at every roll call. The department leaders have all noted this figure of you. Don't come back to school and your enrollment gets filed away. You'll become a missing student." "Oh, the semester. But what did that have to do with me? It's the apocalypse tomorrow. What the hell, school? Fine. Filed away then filed away. Do whatever you like. I'm busy right now. Can't come back to school. That's it, bye." With that, I hung up straight off, giving him no chance to prattle, and blacklisted the number in passing. The last day before the apocalypse. Could you please not come bother me? Without going back to school, I didn't keep cooped up indoors either, but went out on my own, wanting to spend this last peaceful daytime to the fullest. Once the apocalypse arrives, the globe frozen in extreme cold, people could for the vast majority of the time only hole up indoors clinging to a stove to scrape by, and the outdoor activities of the warm era would become memories forever. So this day I did no real business at all. I just wanted to stand once more under a sky with no roof, feeling that scorching heat of late summer and early autumn, feeling this world's last clamor. I toured parks and amusement grounds, caught a music festival, watched a movie, listened to a crosstalk show. I wanted to play more, but the sky had gone fully dark. A mere day, slipping away before I knew it. Never mind, let's head back, prepare to welcome the new era. Holding fresh flowers, an oil painting, and some little goldfish I'd just bought, I returned to the fortress, wanting to do a last bit of ambient soft decor for the place. Come the glacial apocalypse, 10 days or half a month without going out, no one to talk to, long-term confinement was bad for body and mind, easily bottling up into depression or mania. Dotting the place with some flowers, plants, paintings, and little pets was good for the psyche. Late at night, to hang that oil painting, I knocked the wall to drive in a nail. Talk, 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 talk. Right in the thick of it, a round after round of doorbell rang at the front door. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. The doorbell rang urgently in succession, the presser clearly anxious too. I set down the hammer and frowned. Could it be Widow Jia downstairs again, disliking the noise? Shouldn't be. With all that commotion the past few days, she hadn't dared come up again. Walking to the door, a look through the electronic peephole, and I froze. Not Widow Jia, but a young lady. Open up and see what she'd come for. Click, clack, several locks opened in sequence, and with hydraulic assist, I pulled open this several-ton security door. Hello, can I help you? The lady didn't answer first, instead staring at my door with clicks of wonder. This door of yours. Pretty special, huh? Curious. She even tilted her head to peek into the room a couple of times, and seeing those heavy, strange fittings, grew more puzzled. My fortress being peeked at wasn't something I liked, and I sidestepped to block her view. Let's hear what you're here for first. Looking around others' homes isn't quite polite. Oh, sorry. She came to and apologized, mannerly enough. I just came to remind you. Could you not drive nails so late at night? Next door really can't sleep for the noise. Next door? Only then did it click. The previously always vacant 903 suddenly had people moving in today. No disturbance had been triggered the past few days, so this was the reason. I nodded. All right, got it. No more nailing tonight. Rest well. With that, I moved to close the door. Just then, another person came out of 903, drawling lazily. Xiao Yu, who are you talking to? That duck quack voice, a bit familiar. Like Cheng Peng? I didn't rush to close the door and looked a couple more times. Hey, it really was. Cheng Peng, long time no see. Cheng Peng, who'd just come out still scratching his head, saw me and instantly went round-eyed, as if seeing a ghost, raising a trembling hand to point at me. You? How are you here? This is my place. Seeing his panicked look, he'd clearly recalled the old score of eating dirt at the exam hall last time. He forced up his bravado. Su Ming, the last matter is all in the past. No need to keep chasing me down, right? But the tremor in his tone and body leaked all his guilt out. Beside him, Xiao Yu wore a face full of surprise. The Cheng Peng she knew was consistently suave and stylish. No low standing in the circle either, and this cowardly look now was too much of a contrast. She muttered inwardly. This Su Ming, is he formidable? I chuckled. Look closely, I'm 904, you're 903, we're neighbors now. You really think I'm so idle I stare at you to pummel you every day? Cheng Peng was awkward. How's it such a coincidence? All his mind now wanted was to dodge me. The memory of the beating last time was too sickening, and besides, that video of him getting slapped in turns was still in my hands, so he absolutely dared not provoke again. He yanked Xiao Yu. That's enough, don't stay here home. Hey, what's the rush? You're tugging my arm sore. Xiao Yu was dragged along, and the door slammed shut with a clang. I raised a brow, thoughtful. The neighbor turned out to be Cheng Peng. If he didn't move out tomorrow and got trapped here, then perfect. Being right next door, I could deal with him daily, wait for him to come crying to beg for supplies as he starved. That scene really was worth looking forward to. Closing the door, I didn't do as I told Xiao Yu, and picked the hammer back up to nail again. You kidding? An enemy living next door, and I'd let him be at ease? I'd just knock. Come again if you dare. Inside 903, the two of them, Cheng Peng and company, had just entered when the talk of wall knocking started up again. Xiao Yu frowned in irritation. What kind of person? Agreed not to knock, and then does this again the moment we're back. No good. I'll go find him again. Just about to head out, she was yanked back. Chung Peng's face went thin. Forget it. Forget it. Bear with it tonight. Tomorrow we move house straight off. Why though? Xiao Yu wasn't having it and stared at him. Chung Peng, did you have a run-in with that Su Ming? Why are you so afraid of him? Bullshit. Me afraid of him. Struck at his sore spot. Chung Peng blew up on the spot, hands on hips cursing away. Su Ming's a nothing. A poor kid, a good-for-nothing with no background and no clout. I, Chung Peng, am not afraid at all. Xiao Yu raised a brow. Then I'll go tell him to stop knocking? Don't go. Chung Peng choked up again. Why? You sure it's not fear? It's not. Absolutely not. Wait till we run into him tomorrow. You watch whether I sort him out. Fierce on the lips, but his voice grew smaller as he spoke. Keep it down. Xiao Yu hushed. He's right next door. He can't hear. Chung Peng gave a start and hurried to cover his mouth. Cocking an ear, the wall knocking next door seemed to have stopped. He spun out a mental picture. Bad. He wouldn't have really heard and be coming to settle accounts with me. Would he? He instantly broke down. Go, go, go. Xiao Yu, we're not staying tonight. Hotel, your place, back to school, anywhere works. Yelling inwardly, there's a devil, run. Xiao Yu was baffled by this panicked manner of his, but caught on to something too. This Su Ming was surely formidable and had bullied Chung Peng none too lightly before. Otherwise, how would the consistently arrogant rich second gen be scared this badly today? She grumbled inwardly. He's at least my boyfriend. How's he this spineless? Getting angry, she flung off Chung Peng's hand. I'm not going. You go if you want to. I'm not afraid of him. Walked all day, dead tired, moving house in the dead of night to dodge someone. MIA mouse. Chung Peng, pricked by these words, actually recovered somewhat. That's true too. Why am I this afraid of him? I didn't pick a fight this time. And even if he comes, he can't just beat me for no reason. I can reason with him. Taking a few deep breaths, he sat down. Fine, not leaving tonight. Sleep early. Xiao Yu, seeing him weary and dread-filled, didn't feel great about it either and asked with a loose tongue. So what exactly did Su Ming do to you? Tell me. I'll help you think of something. At this question, Chung Peng blew up again. Ask, ask, ask. I said I'm not afraid of him. What's with that look? Do you look down on me? Li Xiao Yu. Last time I'm saying it. He did nothing to me, and I'm not dodging him. Ask again, and we break up. Don't forget, those bags, clothes, shoes, and lipsticks of yours were all bought by me. Studied a few years of dance, can do the splits, and you really take yourself for a socialite. Not daring to vent his anger at Su Ming, but tough toward his girlfriend, a head-on tirade. The rich second-gen's arrogance all laid bare. Xiao Yu, seeing this posture, panicked too, and hurried to smooth it over. Io, Pengti, don't be angry. I won't ask again from now on. Blame my loose tongue. Coaxing on the lips, she sat beside him and leaned close to ease the mood. But Chung Peng, bottling up anger and fear, had no such mind and waved a hand. Forget it. I'm tired. Sleeping first. We'll talk tomorrow. You turn in early too. He burrowed straight into the covers and pulled them over his head, just like an ostrich fleeing disaster. Xiao Yu was left dazed in place, cursing inwardly. Pure trash. If not for the money, who'd keep you company? A face full of scorn, she grabbed her phone and went into the bathroom, locked the door, and messaged her bestie. Qian, quick question. There's a Su Ming in your class. What kind of figure is he? Did he have a conflict with Chung Peng before? Qian replied fast, and the content was pretty explosive. She directly tossed over a short video, shot of exactly that fight at the exam hall at the end of last semester. A pack of scum, courting death. Chung Peng, still not getting down here. Suji, stop hitting. Stop hitting. Xiao Yu watched round-eyed. This Su Ming could fight this well? 1 against 8, and down them all. That Li Xiaoming in the video she had an impression of, close with Chung Peng before, said to run in the underworld, pretty good at fighting too. How were these people like chicks before Su Ming? No match at all. Having watched Chung Peng's sorry state, she understood it all. So this boyfriend of mine is a good-for-nothing, a clown compared to the other guy. Not as tall, not as handsome, hired people to fight, and still got toppled by one man and begged on his knees. Truly shameful. Scorning Chung Peng to the bottom in her heart, she sighed and took a shower to try to cool herself down. But her mind churned over and over with the contrast of the two, impossible to shake off. Chung Peng bullied the weak and feared the strong, short with no build. That Su Ming was tall and handsome, better looking than a star, arms a size thicker than Chung Peng's. Wait, why am I all thinking of him? Chung Peng's still my boyfriend. The more she thought, the more embarrassed, and she hurried to cut off the notions, dried off, and came out. Cheng Ping's grating duck-quack voice came muffled from under the covers. Washing this long? Are we sleeping or not? Oh, coming. Xiao Yu tiptoed up onto the bed, and looking at the head-covered Cheng Pong, that bit of scorn in her heart wouldn't press down no matter what. Never mind, sleep. A night passed. Early morning, I leisurely woke, stretched, and checked the time. 8:35. 3 more hours. I'd forgotten much of last life's memories. Extreme survival in the glacial apocalypse was too agonizing, 8 or 9 parts of the memories being sickening and painful, and not actively forgetting them would strain the mind too much, easily bottling into illness. But there were always a few key nodes I remembered dead clear. Being locked out in the cold by Wang Chi's crew, the conflict with Cheng Ping's underling thugs, my first killing, and the timing of the Polar Knight's arrival. That day at noon, 11:36 and 48 seconds, the sun went out, and the new era arrived. This life's apocalypse timeline had some changes, and I couldn't precisely calculate exactly what time it had come. But my sixth sense told me, it's today, right at noon. Wait, what should come always comes. Having hurriedly eaten my homemade breakfast, I shut the fortress's doors and windows tight, and came to the balcony. I brewed myself a cup of tea, laid out a book, and paired it with some snacks. Everything looked calm, but I still couldn't suppress that surge of excitement and anticipation in my heart. Every minute or two, I'd look up and glance at the sun hanging high, and the closer to noon, the more frequent the looking up. 11:35 arrived. I got up, my expression solidifying. Soon. As I said it, I put on the sunglasses. The words had just fallen, the sunglasses only just settled, and the sun's anomaly burst open. SHHHH, boom. An inexplicable roar crashed down from the horizon, shaking heaven and earth trembling. Right after, the sun violently erupted with dazzling light, brightness leaping several orders of magnitude in an instant. Everyone in the whole of Binhai City involuntarily looked up, shielding the light with the backs of their hands, squinting toward the sun's direction, faces full of confusion. What's going on? Why is it suddenly this bright? The sun, is it flashing? I was the same, only with the sunglasses guarding my eyes, staring at that anomalous sun. But compared to everyone's bewilderment, I was counting down inwardly, with 1 minute as the bound. 55, 54, 53, 30, 29, 28. 10, 9, 8, 3, 2, 1. This was the moment. Flip. The dazzling sun, gone. From brightest to fully black, the switch in just an instant. Looking up again, there was only a stretch of black in the sky. No sunlight, all vision lost. This black was utter, lightless, deeper and stiller than an ordinary night, as if the whole world had been hit with a power-off button. I let out a long breath, expression placid, and sipped the black tea. What should come, still came. Taking off the sunglasses, through the balcony's bulletproof glass, I looked down at the street and the development, peering closely into this ultimate darkness. The old folks chatting all tilted their heads up, hands pointing at the sky, faces uncomprehending. Cycling passers-by stopped their bikes, turned on their phone flashlights, and froze in place at a loss. Cars lit their headlights one after another, casting a small patch of glow ahead. There was even a group of young students, chatting and laughing with faces full of wonder, who from their expressions and gestures seemed to be marveling at this marvel of the sun vanishing into thin air. I shook my head with a smile, a touch of reminiscence in my eyes. Truly a bunch of silly kids. Just like me back then, exactly the same. The sun fully out, Earth sank into polar night. Without thinking hard, you might not feel the crisis within it for a while. After all, the poles have polar night too, and isn't it just a bit colder, a bit harder to endure? But with just a little brain work thinking deeper, you'd find the sun going out was an extremely terrifying crisis. Scientists once built a model, simulating the changes to the blue star after the sun stopped giving off heat. The cooling curve was roughly as follows. 1. 8 minutes after going out, humans begin to distinctly feel the cooling. 2. 24 hours after going out, the temperature drops to 7 to 9 degrees Celsius. 3. 1 week after going out, it plunges to around minus 17 degrees Celsius. 4. 1 month after going out, it falls further to minus 30 degrees Celsius. 5. 1 year after going out, it reaches around minus 40 degrees, entering global freeze. 6. Some years later, continuing to cool, it finally approaches minus 270 degrees, infinitely near absolute zero. By then, the blue star would become a planet with no life activity whatsoever, a dead silent planet.